Yeah, blame Finland.
Yeah, exactly. We're blaming Finland today. Welcome to the Redeye Show. Number 199. Redeye stream, Redeye show, whatever. Fuck yourself. I don't care. What are you going to do? Bitch about being in house fucking fray? I don't give a fuck. Anyway, we're going to bitch about Finland a little bit. Might argue about aluminum. It'll be a fun show, guys. Jensen, why are we mad at Finland?
Right. We are mad at Finland because, and I'm just so as it's clear to everyone, I'm taking this from the RT News setup, though there are multiple options, all more or less saying the same thing. Sex with 10-year-olds is not rape. Finnish court rules in migrants' case. In a case that has triggered public outrage, a top Finnish court has upheld a ruling that sex between an asylum seeker and a 10-year-old girl didn't constitute rape. Critics are calling for harsher sentences for child abuse. Finland's Supreme Court rejected a request from the prosecution to appeal a 3-year jail term for a 23-year-old man on Thursday. Finnish media identify him as Yusuf Mohammed Abudin, an asylum seeker, but doesn't reveal his country of origin. The man was convicted of aggravated sexual abuse, although the prosecution had sought a harsher sentence on charges of aggravated rape. However, the court left the original verdict unchanged. But I have to point out, this sucks balls. This is wrong. This is disgusting. What the unholy hell is wrong with Finland? Anyone have an opinion so far?
Well, yeah. First off, my opinion would be to cut the motherfucker's head off and put it on a pike outside a castle. But you know, whatever. Is the other fucking countries around Finland, so like Norway, Sweden, are they following down this same fucking rabbit hole because of the influx of all the goddamn refugees, and they feel like they need to pussyfoot around?
Perhaps not Norway, but you know Sweden's had this issue. They got women in Sweden that sit up there and apologize to the rapist for raping them.
The only opinion I have on this is complete sheer and utter disgust.
So we're back to chopping the fucker's head off and putting it on a pike.
Well,
right?
no, it's about time people start to understand what you're dealing with when you're dealing with the Middle East. You're not dealing with a culture that's a modern culture. They're not innocent people. This is a cultural thing. This is not, yes, and the individual is responsible for his actions. But when you deal with the Middle East, that's not how they're taught. That's not how they're raised. They do not see it that way.
Well, and that's exactly the argument that, well, we'll get you banned off Twitter. You know, not all cultures are fucking created equal. And that happens to be their culture. I'm sorry. If you want to pull shit like that, if that's what you want, go back to the fucking shithole you crawled out of. Like, I'm sorry, you should not bend your societal standards because, oh, we need to be tolerant and understanding of other cultures. No, fuck that. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That is fucking nonsense.
I'm sick and tired of them playing the game of you need to be tolerant of other cultures. Well, how about they become tolerant of mine? How about they become tolerant of the cultures that they're of the country that they're choosing to reside in, that they're running toward for asylum? How come they're not being forced to be tolerant of Western culture? And you know why? Because then you can't blame Western culture. Then you can't sit up there and have the leftists using it as an excuse to bash Western culture as being the problem.
I'm sorry, they came to what classed as our country. All right, not Finland, but in this specific, but they came to us, they should change to our rules. If I moved to America, I would actually live by the American rules. It's just common bloody sense. What is wrong with people? Why do they not get this?
Well, what's worse is that when they don't do that, what they fail to understand, all these bleeding hearts that want to go, oh, you got to understand. Well, what you're doing now, what you don't understand is you've just given them the green light to sit up there and subsume your culture under theirs. Good luck enjoying the Sharia law that's coming, you apostate.
Well, no, and my level of tolerance ends at you diddling fucking children, you sick fuck.
Well, and here's the thing. These motherfuckers will claim, oh, we need to be tolerant, we need to be understanding, blah, 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 whatever bullshit rhetoric they want to spew, like the fucking good little NPCs that they are. They'll continue down that MO until it's their fucking kids or it's them getting raped. Their tone will change real fucking quick.
Oh, I don't think it will. I think they'll use the excuse because they know how hypocritical it is. They're willing to sell their children down a hole faster than anybody else. Don't believe that they're going to defend children. Do not believe that these same people, if it's happening to one of theirs, will sit up there and defend their own. You don't end up with a person apologizing for being raped like that, like happened in Sweden, because and the reason she did it, I can guarantee you, wasn't because she was worried about the immigrant. Wasn't because she was worried about anything of the kind. No, she was worried about being called a hypocrite. And that became more important to her than her own, than the sanctity of her own body. That's how deranged these people truly are.
Well, and she also knows if she does come out and say that kind of shit. Sorry, Mad Dodge, to cut you off real quick. The other reason is because it's been so ingrained in them, not necessarily from a psychological standpoint, but from a societal standpoint more than anything. They know if they speak out, they're going to be attacked left and right. In some cases, probably even by their own friends and family for being quote unquote intolerant. Because those people also know if they don't call that person out and ostracize them, then they're going to be the next one on the fucking chopping block.
Well, yeah, and isn't it kind of like Stockholm Syndrome, where they actually do feel bad about being fucking kidnapped or raped in the instance MC is talking about? And Zero Cool, go fuck yourself. Don't talk to me about Boston for the next year. Fuck off. Anyway.
Are you gonna rage quit now?
No, I'm not gonna quit my own fucking stream.
Good. Right.
But no, that was a point I was trying to make, though. Isn't it kind of like Stockholm Syndrome?
Oh, it is. It definitely is.
Yeah. I don't know if, I guess in some instances you could call it Stockholm Syndrome, but I don't know. My personal viewpoint, I'd like to hear your take on this, MC, is I really think the root cause of this is just people know and understand, whether they admit it or not, that if they do call this shit out and actually speak their mind, they're going to be attacked for it. And they're socially and publicly intimidated into not calling it out.
Right. One of the things about all this new wave of teaching children and conflict at resolution and all this crap, one of the things that they always seem to refuse to stress, okay, is courage. Is moral courage, standing up for your convictions. Okay? They'll excuse it if you have the proper skin tone, if you're part of the protected minority group, all right, whatever that's going to be. But then you got to look at the scale that they've created for it. Where on this spectrum, hey, I think you've all heard that word before, where on this spectrum do you lie? And they're creating a stratified cultural identity of where on this spectrum you get away with anything and everything.
Well, aren't they they're killing their own cultural identity, though? Finland isn't going to be for the Finnish
because the Muslims are going to take advantage of that and say, you know what, your culture is so weak, we can impose our cultural values onto you, and you won't stop it. You won't do anything about it. Within a few years now, you're going to see a flood. This is the kind of ruling that causes the flood of these Muslim migrants into your country, and you're going to see them flooding now, all right, into Finland, because they now know they culturally they can dominate your culture, and they're going to They're going to create it and they're going to build on it. They don't want to be finished. This is the other thing that people don't understand. They don't care about the nationality. They don't care because in their minds, the theocracy is the important thing. That defines their nation. They're not nationalistic like we are. They don't look at say, well, I'm Syrian. They don't have any pride in being Syrian. They have pride in being Sunni. They have pride in being Alawite. They have pride in their tribe. They don't have pride in a nationalistic sense the way we understand it. And they're going to flood into Finland, and they're going to set up the Finnish caliphate.
Yep. And the thing is there is actually a second part where this is actually going to get worse. At the end of the day, the paedophiles are going to use this to attempt to get themselves part of the alphabet soup that is now the gender and sexuality group. And then they'll be forced to be allowed in. At this point, you daren't have children anymore. It is literally insane what is going on in this world. I am so appalled with this. It is ridiculous.
Of course, that is their goal. You are right about that. They are going to sit up there and get themselves the NAMBLA people. There's a reason that it isn't LGBT anymore.
No, yeah, they've been trying to infiltrate the whole LGBT thing for a while now, and they're starting to do so rather successfully, which
right,
is
because
equally as abhorrent.
The other reason they're able to do it is because it's the next wave of destroying society. It's the next goal of the leftists. The leftists don't care how Western society is destroyed, only that it's destroyed. And they're willing to accept any help in that regard. I've said this many times that people do not understand who the left is and what their goals are. It's not about helping people. It never is. People like memes keep coming back and go, well, I know some good people. Really? Is a good person tolerant of this?
Well, I believe I've said this before. I think I've said this before on stream, and I think, MC, you'll agree with me on this one. A certain degree of discrimination is not always a bad thing. If you're blindly tolerant of anyone and everything, you'll eventually invite in that which seeks to destroy you. And if you speak out against it, you will be silenced, publicly intimidated, or forcibly removed from a platform. Or, as Maxine Waters would say, you form a crowd and you make sure that they know they're not welcome here. Because a silent sheep is a dead sheep. And that's exactly what they want.
A silent sheep is easy prey.
Exactly.
That's for sure. And then you got a lot of people that are willing to be prey, that they're preying.
All it's going to take is when that wolf decides it finally wants to kill you.
Well, which one gets me the most sheep? That's what their calculation is. And when it comes right down to it, what do I need to do to make sure I get the most sheep possible? And
exactly.
As long as you've got collaborators like Nancy Pelosi who thinks that she's part of the wolf, right? She believes she's one of the wolves. She believes she's going to be one of the ones in charge. So she doesn't have any problem with what's going on. She doesn't have any problem with being anybody calling her a hypocrite or anything else, because she knows she'll never be held accountable. Her actions and so forth are all on the right side, and as long as she stays on the right side of these issues, she knows she's part of the protected class, and she's gonna get rich, and she's gonna have this money, and it's all gonna insulate her. All right, just like it always has. All right, where she can then dictate as to who should be getting what, when, and where. She's part of the ruling elite. She has no understanding of how fast that can change, and that she can get tossed off of that ruling elite platform and into the fires with the pitchforks. And I mean the pitchforks.
Or no, let's go more literal, MC. Tossed off the top of the building, right?
Right.
I mean, isn't that what they do in Saudi Arabia? Oh, you're gay? Bye, faggot. And they just throw you off the fucking roof. I mean,
and that's what they're looking for. And the very people who the ones that they were screaming about, you were being mean to me because you called me a fag. Well, it's going to come down to a choice. You're going to deal with the fact that you were called a fag, or are you going to sit up there and be tossed from a building? Which one would you prefer? It's a harsh choice, but guess what? You've got to learn to live with the fact that people don't like what you're doing as a sexual choice in the matter. That there are going to be people that don't like the fact that homosexuality exists. As long as they're not trying to toss you from a roof, though, okay, is when you've got to start saying, hey, wait a minute here, all right? You got to look at that. But if you side with the people who are willing to toss you off the roof because you're making excuses for them. Oh, you're just bad because you just don't like the Muslims. The same people who are tossing gays from roofs, and then all of a sudden you find yourself on the other end of it. Who are you going to blame? You got rid of the very people that were actually doing the actual protection.
Yeah, no, and Tema, if you want to jump on, it's a pretty small panel right now. You could vent about that shit on air if you want to jump on. Other than that, you told me that and what happened in Discord. I'm not going to fucking make it public. But if you want to jump on and vent, yeah, that's something I would be bitching about fucking on air if I was you. So the link is in Discord. But anyway, yeah, no, see, I'm not going to be tolerant of people that fucking diddle kids. I'm not going to be tolerant of people that throw others from rooftops. I'm just not going to be. Sorry. If it was a Catholic fucking person throwing somebody off a rooftop, or, insert Catholic priest joke here. I'm not tolerant of those fuckers either.
No, and you can't, and your society can't be.
That was my whole point too, is again, some degree of discrimination is not exactly a bad thing. I know, being discriminatory or, being a nationalist have become taboo words and shit. But I'm sorry, there are certain things I simply just will not tolerate because they're fucking intolerable. They're abhorrent. They're evil. It's disgusting. I'm sorry, if you're going to tolerate shit like that, in my mind, you're just a fucking accomplice to tolerating abhorrent evil shit, and you're no fucking better.
Well, yeah, no, and you don't tolerate other people fucking verbally assaulting your child either. Tema, go ahead and fucking tell that story.
Well, okay, so we all know that Black Panther is probably the worst Marvel movie to ever be made. It was the least success. It was probably the worst Marvel movie to be made in the new arc. My 11-year-old is still angry at me for having them watch it so we could have the arc completed before we watched the Infinity Wars. And we watched it like last week, and they're still pissed at me about it. So we're in Target at the checkout, last minute holiday or Halloween shopping. We need more sparklies. We didn't have enough fucking sparklies. So we go into Target because it's the last place that has the Stormtrooper sparkly that my daughter really wants. It wasn't there by the time we got there. All we could find was the back half of the mask. So fuck it. We found some other small thing. I can't remember what to get. And we're like, okay, we're going to grab this little thing and let's go. We get into the line. My 11-year-old sees this sign or sees the stand that has Black Panther in it. And she goes, oh, that's gay. That loudly in the store too, by the way, guys. Oh, that's gay. And my husband goes, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm in the middle of bitching at the 11-year-old for shouting. That's internet talk, kiddo. We don't do that in real life. You got to learn how to separate the two. Especially when you live near fucking Portland. There's Antifa here. Don't run your mouth like that. I'm having this conversation with her. My husband walks away. I'm loading the like 3 things we have to put on the conveyor thing, and I'm talking to my 11-year-old. This, I shit you not, 6'3" or 6'4" behemoth of a broad sticks her head up and goes, excuse me, did she just say gay? And I nodded my head.
Oh.
And I went to grab something else, and I was touching my 11-year-old's arms, and she goes, did she really just say gay? And I said, yeah, and I'm talking to her about it. Why? This 6'4" broad takes 5 large steps, like lumbering stomps towards my 11-year-old, grabs the lapels of her own coat like she's pearl clutching.
Oh, no. Oh, you that's it. That's on. That will get you hurt.
Donkey Kong, motherfucker, right? But I'm standing in the middle of Target with my 6-year-old and my 11-year-old by myself. I'm 5'7". I weigh 135 pounds with rocks in my pockets, soaking fucking wet, people. Okay, I'm not a big gal. This bitch is not only like 6'3", 6'4", she's over 200 pounds. She's built like a goddamn linebacker. She should be in the military, okay? She's a big broad. She's bigger than my husband. But she's not like fat. She's just large statured, you know, like good, solid Eastern European kind of gal. And she takes those steps, and I step between her because, you know, my 11-year-old starts taking a couple little steps backwards, like, holy shit, this bitch is going to eat me. And so she's 11. You know what I mean?
It's a reasonable fear.
She's 11,
Yeah.
and she's not a tiny girl. Okay, now Lily is also 5'6", and she's entered into puberty. She's built like a woman. She's a large 11-year-old. But even so, she's still obviously a child. You can tell she's still obviously a child. Still, like you can tell she's a pubescent child. Looking at her, it's obvious. And I step between the two. I stick my hand out and I go, oh no, ma'am, I've got this. I'm talking to her about it. You don't need to step in. I'm her mom. I know what I'm doing. This broad straight looks at me and says, well, I have the right to tell her my opinion. And I said, no, you don't. You have the right to state your opinion. You, however, do not have the right to intimidate my 11-year-old. And that's when she walked away, still telling me how it was her right to tell my daughter how bad she was. And I said, no, you don't get to get in the middle of my parenting. I have the right to speak my opinion. Yeah, I have the right to tell you to shut up and leave my kid alone, too. And that ended the conversation right there. I looked at her, and I also, right after that, I said, she's 11, by the way. And the woman said, I don't care. I still have a right to say whatever I want to her. Now, I looked at her like she was retarded. I think my 6-year-old actually scared her from behind me because as soon as she looked behind me, and then she looked away right away. So I think my daughter, actually, I think my tiniest actually gave her that serial killer look that her father has.
Nice.
No, they have this 1,000-yard stare that makes 90% of the world uncomfortable. I haven't told Target about it yet, Zero Cool, because there were 2 fucking managers and 3 cashiers all standing right there that watched the fucking thing go down. That's the part I was going to talk about next, Dave. It was fucking unbelievable to me that this entire store full of people with their own kids allowed this woman to come up and try to physically bully and intimidate a child, a gigantic woman, come up and try to intimidate and verbally abuse a child.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might not necessarily have kids, but you know what? If you want to physically intimidate my kid, you might think it's your right to do so. It'll also be my right as a parent to put my fist through your fucking face.
Yeah,
if you get out of the hospital within a week, it'll be too soon.
I probably very, very easily could have ended up in trouble because I would have physically defended my child.
Okay, now the biggest imperative to me wasn't necessarily, okay, it was Lily's safety. Like the girls, their safety was my biggest imperative. My second imperative was to stop this woman talking before she finished an SJW sentence that would make my 11-year-old eat her for breakfast.
Well, yeah, that was probably, you have a cooler head than I do, apparently.
But it's just because I know my child.
It has nothing to do with that. Is if you attempt to do something that I think is physical to my child, like this person is trying to threaten, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to threaten back. Okay, I'm not playing games anymore. Okay, I'm not getting into the. This is the biggest problem that I've had with a lot of. You wonder where that attitude comes from. You know where that attitude comes from? That attitude comes from the federal government telling people, you're not in charge of raising your child. It takes a village. I'm telling you guys right now, I understand the reasons behind certain things. I understand, yeah, we have Child Protective Services for a reason. The problem is Child Protective Services isn't doing its job. It's inflicting this kind of crap and this kind of mentality onto the rest of the public. And instead of helping the situation, they're only inflaming it. They're only making it worse. And it's only gotten worse ever since we've created the whole thing of Child Protective Services.
Well,
I agree 100%, and I'm going to use one example to prove MC's point. Go back 40, 50 years. How many kids do you think actually had an after-school program? Do you think childcare was a thing? Like their kinder care, like the fucking little after-school daycare programs? Do you think that was a major business? Do you think they had state functioning after school programs 50 fucking years ago?
No, you had neighborhoods.
The school system.
No, you
Yeah,
had
well, nowadays
neighborhoods
you
where
have
there
the
were
school
like 3 or
system
4 stay-at-home moms all in a row, and all the kids that went to school, if their parents had to work or they weren't home, there was a section of stay-at-home moms that all lived on one block, and all the kids all went to that section. People gave them food, resources, and stuff. They ran their own communal daycare centers based off of neighborhoods. The kids all just played
Exactly.
together, and there was a handful of parents outside watching to make sure nobody got killed. And that's the way it was for God, probably centuries, probably millennia, if you think about it. You've always had a group of people that
Yeah, that
stayed
only
back, and
changed.
the retirees and stuff like that watched the children and the stay. Yeah,
That
Well,
only
no,
changed in the late 60s, early 70s.
it did.
Well,
It didn't. Yeah, when we started, I think it changed when we started moving away from family and communal beds.
well, no, I think it changed in the 80s and early 90s when okay, let's just be straight up about it. When two-parent households started to dissolve, is
Yes.
when that
It
changed.
started changing
Absolutely.
in the 1960s when you had that idiot write that stupid book and try to.
Stalinski rules for radicals.
Right? No, Spock.
No,
Okay,
Oh,
and he
Dr.
wrote that
Spock?
book on parenting about how children should be raised. And ever since then, the left wing has been promoting that kind of philosophy ever since. Even though it's been debunked, even though it's been proven to just how disastrous it is to try to actually raise a child on that quack's freaking theories. Okay, it is the mainstay behind a lot of this bullshit. You combine that with Kinsley. All right, where he came back and basically said people in the farm, at least 30 to 40% have had sex with animals.
Yeah, that was never statistically proven to be a real thing either. That was never ever even considered to be like a real idea, but they printed it like it was reality.
Not only is it printed, even to this day, his freaking works and his things are taken as gospel. It is cited in peer-reviewed journals constantly.
Well,
Really?
no, and
There's
Yes.
no evidence to back it. There's zero evidence. There's not even like data studies for it.
The entire University of Indiana has a wing devoted to that frickin' fraud.
There was literally zero evidence, though. Like,
well, real quick, Zero Cool in the chat says, Mad Dodge, blame the women's lib movement from the 70s and fuck Dr. Spock and the yuppies. And Kinsley was a fucking weirdo. Yeah, Kenzie was a fucking weirdo. But that's a whole different thing. He's the guy that did the sex study or whatever.
He was he was a perverted degenerate in his own personal life, and he wrote a thing basically to try and justify his own perverted sense of sexuality.
Well, and here's the other thing, just to touch on that real quick. When the mom works 9 to 5, when the dad works 9 to 5, when it's openly encouraged that both the mom and the dad pursue, and I'll be blunt here, their own selfish self-interests over the well-being of their child because they know the state or some daycare or somebody else will take care of them, and their turnaround is, oh, well, I'm making a bunch of money so I can, buy them some toys or give them everything I never had. But they don't take the time to actually fucking raise their damn children, this is what you end up with. As much as I hate to admit it, you end up with my generation. A bunch of entitled fucking kids in fucking adult bodies that are of legal voting age.
Well, I would say
that's like to threaten children.
Well, no, and I would take that a step further and bring up the fact that we actually have the term free-range children, as kids are allowed to walk to the fucking park by themselves. Oh my God, that's so scary. What the fuck, okay? We are not teaching our children independence anymore. And when you try to let them go pulling fucking child protective services.
Well, it's...
Go ahead.
I was going to say the other part of it is that, we have so many people that are stuck in Arrested Development. I can guarantee that broad may have been 30, but she doesn't have any kids. I could guarantee that woman didn't have any kids. She had absolutely no understanding of how to approach children, how to talk to anybody around her. There is no way that woman had procreated at all. There's no way she had any idea what it's like to deal with kids at all.
She's not out of being a child to begin with.
Exactly. And she's up here trying to scare my kid.
Was she acting like an adult? No. She wasn't. She wasn't acting like an adult. She was acting like another child. And one of the problems
She was acting like a
is
fucking playground bully.
Which is exactly how I treated her and how I spoke to her.
Exactly, and but that creates the other part of the problem. Is how do you end up with a woman doing this kind of stuff, especially if she's at the age that you're talking about, and thinking that she should act like a freaking 2-year-old or act like a 3-year-old? At what point does somebody come back and say, you're acting like a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old? What the hell is wrong with you? And of course, the reason she was doing that, let's be perfectly honest, was probably because she thinks that she's part of some protected class, and that she herself has had to suffer the slings and arrows of people who have told her how bad she is, and how terrifying that actually was when she was growing up, as an excuse to blame all of her bad life decisions on somebody else.
$1,000 said she's of a specific sexual orientation, just considering the offense that she took to a word that is flung around on the internet as a casual insult that most people would laugh at. Because let's be honest, if the best insult you can come up with is, oh, you're gay, I'm going to look at you like a fucking moron. Like, if you're going to try to insult me, at least be creative about it.
Well, and who responds to an 11-year-old calling somebody seriously? We learned
when the parent is already obviously disciplining the child.
I was in the middle of having the conversation with her too. It's not like I had stopped. We were working on, context and, difference between, meme life on the internet and how we deal with people in real life and what happens when you talk to people rudely in real life. This is like a life lesson thing that we have been working on because she's 11. Okay. She's 11. Does anybody else remember being 11? I thought
that's because these overgrown fucking cafeteria children never learned one very important rule when it comes to life. Actions have accountability. Guess what? You're not a protected class. You're just one, let me quote fucking Floyd here. You're one fucking brick in the wall. Your opinion counts for very little.
Yeah, you're just another cog. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Another problem with a lot of these people is they don't teach them certain things about reality. Like,
you mean like being 6'4" and 250 pounds and walking quickly at a child?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you an example of something. All right. There was a news article and that we were watching. Me and my wife were watching the news, right? And we sat down, and on came this woman, and her teenage daughter had been grabbed in the ass. All right, in school. And she was so traumatized by this happening to her that she ended up having to seek counseling and everything.
Wait a goddamn minute! I gotta stop you right fucking there. Are you fucking shitting me? Because when I was in high school, we would go hang out at a friend's house, and he had a fucking no shirt rule, for God's sake. So the chicks were literally just taking their fucking shirt off as they came in the house. It was a no shirt rule. This chick couldn't get her butt grabbed. I mean, what the fuck?
I'm telling you, this was in a high school, right? So they were interviewing the mother, right? And the mother sits up there and said, "I told my daughter that they couldn't touch her unless she sit up there and told them that they could touch her, and this is what happened." And I looked at my wife. I said, "Do you realize what she just did there?" And she goes, "What?" I said, "She didn't teach her child reality." And when my wife was like, what the hell are you talking about here? And I said, look, she was teaching her child not that these children shouldn't. She was teaching her child that they couldn't, that there was no way they could do it. And she found out quickly that wasn't reality. Because whether you like it or not, a child can do that. Somebody can grab her ass. Not that they shouldn't. Not that there's a social convention that should prevent that. But the fact that it couldn't happen to her. So this child is now traumatized because she thought it couldn't happen to her. She's been told this her entire life and has never encountered the fact that there's something called reality. There's something that goes between what we would like the world to be like and what the world is actually like, and what you have to be aware of and cognizant of when you walk down a freaking hallway. I understand the fact that I'm only 5'6", I understand when I sit up there and walk into a bar and I see a bunch of 6'2", 500-pound freaking gorillas roaming around. All right, that I'm in a situation where if a fight breaks out,
you're gonna lose.
It's going to be hell.
You gonna lose, and that's what I was looking at, dude. I'm going, okay. What?
Nothing. I pointed out the fact that MC's shorter than me. By only half an inch, but he's shorter than me.
Zero cool. Zero cool. Yeah. Okay. Here you are. I was gonna say I damn near froze my computer up, but I sent you the fucking link.
Why didn't you just ask me to do it? I could have. God.
And just to Mad Dog, to touch on your point real quick. If that kid ever went anywhere near a DC City Metro, a New York City Metro, or any major metropolitan area in general, they would need thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours worth of counseling.
Well, why exactly do these kids need counseling every time something stupid happens? When we would pass out at a party, we'd wake up with swastikas and dicks drawn on our face. You know, like, seriously.
Because they're not well adjusted to reality, just like MC was saying. They've been living their life in a fucking safe space echo chamber this entire time and been taught to believe that that's fucking normal and that's how reality works when it's the exact opposite.
Strictly failure of parenting. I'm gonna go right back to. So let me cut in real quick, Doku, because I'm not gonna be here that long. It's very simple. It's very simple, like what Anthema was talking about. That 250-pound water buffalo turning around on an 11-year-old. I don't give a shit that she's a lesbian. My daughter is a lesbian. She serves in the United States military, the Air Force specifically, and she doesn't pull this. I'm going to use my LGBTQ privilege card with anybody because she wasn't raised that way. As I've said 100 times, my daughter came out to me and I'm like, all right, that's fine. And not once did she get ostracized by anybody in the family. My dad rolled his eyes, but I said, Dad, get over it. He said he did. He did. And there have been times where she's been called the most vile names and she just turns around and says, what, is that all you got? And she walks off. Because she doesn't, she was raised by two parents that, one, we don't tolerate any bullshit. Secondly, our kid's our kid. If you genuinely love your kid, and they, are who they are, you're just going to roll with it because that's who they are. You are part of their life. They are part of yours, and you accept that your child is the way they are. And this 250-pound water buffalo probably looked like Cenk Uygur, and if I would have been there, I probably would have fucking floored her to the ground. My daughter would have floored her to the ground, especially if you're saying stuff to an 11-year-old kid, you better watch your mouth. I was like, what are you, fucking in high school? Yeah, that's complete arrested development. We have a generation and a half, and I'm talking Gen X and millennials, a generation and a half that suffer from fucking arrested development. Have you seen these people that are in their late 30s and 40s that are part of Gen X and my age that fucking, instead of having a midlife crisis, they go out and they spend all their fucking money on video games and paraphernalia and of comic book shit? That's fucking arrested development, and I'll tell you why it exists. It's not because they aren't successful or competent adults. It's because they, well, at least Gen X, I can speak for Gen X, they craved the time when things weren't so damn complicated. And it's not because of out of irresponsibility. It's because the fucking 1990s happened when everybody started fucking bitching and whining and moaning and complaining, thinking that, considering that we were on the tail end of a very good economy, well, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And then reality kicked them right in the crotch.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, my daughter was already out of the house. I said to her, sweetie, I think I'm having a midlife crisis. She goes, okay, Dad, deal with it. Did I go out and buy a new sports car? No. I've shown some of the stupid shit off that I have in my game room, but that's my game room. That doesn't permeate every single crevice of my house. Not the bedroom, not the front room, not the bathroom, none of it. It's just my game room. That is the equivalent of a guy having the garage and a den. And it's not a man versus a woman thing, because when you have a house, when you own a house and you are married, you need to have a certain presentation. So long story short is there is a generation and a half of people who are mentally sustaining arrested development, and for the Gen Xers it's called a fucking midlife crisis, and we will get over it. But if I were in them, I would be contacting Target Corporate for the and this is just my humble opinion, I wasn't there. I don't know law. I would think that for the inactions of the manager to step in and say, hey, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you can't be harassing an 11-year-old.
You can't threaten children. You can't intimidate children.
I would be calling corporate. They don't like that shit. There's nothing that scares corporate than a mom saying, I had a person come up and intimidate my child in the middle of your store, name the store, and your management did nothing. They will guarantee damn well call down to over that store and say, I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing, but you're fired.
Well, I'm hoping.
Touch on sorry, go ahead, Nathwa.
No, I was just saying, I'm hoping when my husband comes home from work today, I don't have an active phone, so I have to wait till he gets home. I can't make any calls right now. I'm hoping we can actually physically go into the store and I can talk to a manager.
Okay. I would just say if nothing settles at the store, just basically say, hey, look, if they can't resolve this, call corporate, because corporate does need to know. That is, and it's not a money issue. It's the old adage of if something good if something is good, you tell one person, they tell two people, they tell two people, they tell two people, and soon you sell a product really well. And the exact opposite of if something really sucks, you tell two people, they tell two people, and then next thing you know, you don't sell a product. That's exactly how Target sees it. They don't want to lose money. And the only thing that scares them more than the LGBTQ is an angry mom.
Yeah, because housewives actually feel the economy.
Yeah.
Well, no, and just call them up, tweet at them, and tell them you're gonna make a YouTube video. They'll call down there. They'll stop it. But I turned 34 in about 4 days. Zero cool. Is that early enough? Is that early enough for me to have a midlife crisis? Can I buy
you have to hit your 40s, to be honest.
Yeah.
You actually have to hit your 40s. And the term actually of midlife crisis doesn't necessarily apply to any and while they say it doesn't necessarily apply to any specific age. If you think you might only live 60 years on this planet, you're going to have one when you're 30. It's more of an emotional and mental state of where you do you basically do a self checkup, your mental health, your physical health, and you basically usually have one. You usually have a midlife crisis if you've never taken a moral inventory. And it's one of those things that if you have an overpining urge for nostalgia or some shit, because I've seen some people that have, stuff that I'll never have, and they're divorcing their wives and they're trying to bang away on a woman half their age. Well, you can thank the baby boomers for that shit. They started all this fucking crap. And I look at them and I said, you're fucking retarded. And then the wives will end up marrying some guy who either have never been married or their wives cheated on them, and they end up perfect together. My sister was one of those. My sister was one of those people.
I think that predates the idea that the old man banging the frickin' hot chick. That goes way back.
And actually, real quick, just before
simplified by the baby boom generation.
To pass off.
The baby boom generation is the catalyst for all the fuck ups of the last two generations. MC.
The baby boom generation did sit up there and take away the stigma of it. I will admit that.
Zero and MC, real quick, just before we segue out of this point and it becomes irrelevant. As you mentioned, the only thing that Target is more afraid of is an angry mom, because this LGBT person is going to use their quote unquote marginalized status as a way to defend themselves against any sort of accountability or adverse opinion. That is the exact reason that people like this, the individual that was, being an overground playground bully, Playboy bully. God, Jad, fucking kill me now.
We're terrible.
No. Kill me now. But that's the entire reason But that's the entire reason they use these intimidation tactics and try to force people into silence, because the second that you actually call them out for their bullshit, it exposes them for what they actually are.
Yeah.
They can't make up a good argument. They have to intimidate people and silence other people, because deep down, whether they consciously recognize it or not, they know they're full of shit, and they know they represent the very things that they claim to hate and be against. They embody all of it.
Oh yeah. And I've seen this kind of behavior out of adults at the gym where I go. I broke my leg about 4 years ago, and I gained about 65 pounds, so I've got a lot of weight to lose. I wear it good, oddly enough. I'm about 6 feet, but it's not really like, all in one area. And I will see people that have been in there that are totally ripped, and you will get a new person who is severely out of shape. I mean, I'm talking the way Boogie used to be, who go in there with the single goal to lose weight, and they change their diet, and they come in and they feel bad about themselves. And you'll see people say, "Hey, fat ass, what are you doing in here?" And I will just literally step right in front of those people and tell the buff jocks to say, "Do you realize how stupid you sound? What are you talking about, chubby?" And say, "Yeah, I know I'm chubby, but do you realize how stupid you sound telling a person who's obese, what are they doing in the middle of a gym? Do you realize how mentally inferior you sound?" And that pisses them off more than anything, because you basically said, you're the bigger asshole for calling a obese person fat and asking them why they're in the gym. It should be in, and of course they don't think logically. So if you manage to emasculate them, you take that heat off of them and get it onto you. And if you're more than able to take care of yourself, it doesn't really matter. And then basically it's like, what, turn 6 already. So if all the person can ever do is, "Oh, you're a fucking fat ass, lose some weight or eat a salad," it's like, yeah, you're saying this to a person in the middle of a gym. Come on, really? That's the same premise that's applied to people basically like this water buffalo Cenk Uyghur bull dyke. And my daughter would say the same thing, so I get to use the LGBT parent
I'm
pass here.
bisexual.
So,
I can say whatever the fuck I
yeah,
want. I've had just as many girlfriends as I have
a parent
boyfriends.
of a LGBTQ daughter, I get that special pass. And so this water buffalo Cenk Uyghur bull dyke saying this to an 11-year-old is that equivalent of the muscle-bound buffoon in the gym telling a fat guy, "Why are you in the middle of a gym?"
It's like, gee, I don't know. 2 plus 2 must not equal 4, I guess.
Well, no, Jez Oldfield in the chat says, "Mad Dodge, you have to hit your 40s, dude. But I want a Corvette and a blonde. Come on."
Okay, but the only way you're going to get those is if you either acquire a whole bunch of debt, suddenly have like a master's in business, or live in an area where women are for sale.
Mad Dodge, why don't you just ask your wife to dye her hair blonde or wear a wig,
Don't give me
doofus?
suggestions, Atema. Do not give this yo-yo
No,
freaking
it's funny.
suggestions.
It's funny. My wife's actually been watching the show lately and trying to be more engaged. Like, she's in the chat right now.
Poor girl.
Kick your ass. That's what she's going to do. What's this bullshit? You want a blonde hair? What? Yeah,
I know.
you're the one who has to live with her, buddy.
She already kicked me and told me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, called it. You knob. All right, well, that's all the piece I had to say about the water buffalo Cenk Uyghur telling an 11-year-old off. So I will see you guys back in the chat. Thanks.
Hey, are you going to join us this evening?
Yes.
Excellent.
All right, see you then.
Looking
Bye.
forward to it, man. Have a good one.
Later, Dave.
Well, no, absolutely. I'm a little surprised, Tema, that you didn't lay this bitch out in the middle of Target, but
because she was 2 times the size of her.
Okay, I'm standing in a store, literally surrounded by people that agree with what's going on here.
Plus, the only thing that could have taken out the bitch was her tits, if she suffocated her.
Well, no, I could have taken her down. I am trained in the ability to protect myself from larger people. I have taken several courses in this stuff. I've sparred. I've wrestled. I've done all kinds of things to ensure that I cannot be raped again. Okay. I have a lot of self-defense under my belt. However, I had my kids with me, and I needed to show them exactly what you do in a situation to de-escalate it, still maintain control, and keep everybody safe while being afraid. There was also that part of me that said, I have to show my kids how to act in this situation as well. And I think I did exactly what a civilized, rational adult would do. I took back control of the situation. I stated with authority that she wasn't allowed to attack her or harass us at all, and that stopped her. And I'm hoping that the bigger lesson my kids take away is, even if you say something offensive, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself.
Damn right.
And do it non-violently. That was really what I was working for.
I still think, had that woman not been as big as she was,
I know I would have been nastier.
I still think you should have let your daughter just verbally assault the shit out of her, because it would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that this happened in Oregon, which is an open carry state. What if you had a gun on your hip? You think she would have came at your daughter like that?
No, she wouldn't have. She wouldn't have come at my daughter like that if she hadn't seen my husband walk away either. She thought she had the advantage. She assumed because, the man wasn't there, the woman would just kowtow. I've got the dreadlocks. I know my privilege, right? I've checked my privilege. I'm woke. I live in Oregon, right?
Oh, how misogynistic of her.
It was her assumption. That was totally her assumption. Yeah. It was just, she thought she was going to have some sort of retarded kumbaya where she gets to tell my kid how painful it was to hear somebody say the word gay, not realizing that the 11-year-old was just going to tell you to stop being gay.
Well, we all know the kryptonite to SJWs are those hurtful words.
Sad part is, it wouldn't surprise me if that woman did work for Child Protective Services.
That was my other concern. Is she's a liberal, and liberals, well, obviously an SJW psychotic. They tend to work for the state.
Well, they're also vindictive as shit.
Yes.
No, and the state of Oregon, especially Benton County, which I don't think this was in Benton County. You're up more.
No, I was in Washington County. I was Washington County.
But they're fucking notorious for yanking kids away for pretty much nothing. Oregon Child Protective Services is actually not a very good fucking organization at all.
None of the protective services are. Because of a couple of different reasons, but not the least of which is because it's a bureaucracy. Bureaucracies start to feed unto themselves. Unless you do something that's truly temporary, a bureaucracy will tend to want to grow itself, and they start going out of their way to try and grow themselves into it. And then people then get comfortable with their lives. You end up with two groups. You end up with the frickin' pink-haired women that are going to sit up there and go out of their way to save the world, or the guy who doesn't give a shit because he's so damn jaded. He doesn't care if the kid freaking keels over because he's seen it all.
Yeah.
And that's what you end up getting populated in these groups. The only other ones, the ones that are how do I want to say this without sounding bad, who are at least showing a little bit of initiative, they won't stay there. They'll find a way to move up in the ranks and get the hell out of that area. All right, but those are the people that go into those things. I've seen it many times.
Well, it's funny you said pink hair because my wife dyed her hair red and then it faded to pink, so she's a pink-haired person right now.
I had purple hair when I found out I was pregnant with my oldest. I found out I was pregnant with my oldest on April Fool's Day, with purple hair, wearing a Lucky Logger shirt, a painted leather jacket, and untied Doc Martens, and a 50-cent thrift store skirt. They handed me abortion pamphlets and said, "So, are you considering keeping the child?"
Wait. Abortion is the natural go-to? Really? What the fuck?
Really.
I looked at her, I laughed, I threw them in her face, and I said, "Oh, yeah, because I'm totally going to kill a baby. No, y'all have a great day," and walked out.
Yeah, and all they were thinking was, well, she's pro-life. Fucking cunts.
Well, it was a bunch of little old ladies, and they saw the purple hair, and they assumed that I was some sort of big drug addict, and I was wearing it was my ex-husband's metal jacket in it, or leather jacket, and it had his metal band that wasn't really a band. It was bad, very, very, very much bad. I never knew about the band before I met him. I didn't know that it was a band on the back of the jacket. I thought it was a thing he had done for football or something. It wasn't until after his divorce that I found it was an actual band, but it had this stuff painted all over it. And I was I looked totally, completely like a rapscallion. You know what I mean? So these little old ladies were like, "Oh God, she needs to have an abortion or she's going to have a really fucked up kid." Because they thought I was just really fucked up, They were wrong.
God damn. Anything else happening in the news today, guys? We started with the story about Finland, and Jensen got his rant out. Unless you want to revisit that for a minute, Jensen. You got anything else on it?
Well, I'm more than happy to continue reading some of the shit here, but it kind of depends. Do you really think your audience needs to hear how disgusting Finland is?
I'm not sure. Didn't Jez in the chat say you didn't want to click on the link?
Yeah,
dude. Okay.
I honestly couldn't even get through the entire article. That shit's fucking
Finland's
abhorrent.
Straight fucked up. No, but apparently out near where was it? Jakarta, a plane went down and all of the people that were on it. I believe it was 189.
I heard 188. I know the story you're talking about. I saw it last night before I went to bed.
Oh, you're talking about the Lion Airlines flight, I think it was?
Yeah. That went down. There was a shooting, student against student.
Jesus, what the hell's going on?
Well, that's probably in Compton. I mean, it's expected. But
no, it wasn't. God, all of this is in the Redeye stream. I put it all in there.
Okay. Well, let's
highlight some good news
first. Let's talk about the flight.
Can we highlight some good news real quick, Mad Dodge? Not that there's much that needs to be said, but just to highlight some good news, since we have some, well, there's always bad news. But Bolsonaro won. Congratulations, Brazil. You might not be fucked. And Angela Merkel has now stepped down as the head from the Christian Democratic Union in Germany, and it looks like she's going to go the way of the dodo, as she should.
Oh,
and ADF.
Cheers!
And the
cheers
ADF
to Angela Merkel going fucking bye-bye. I'm taking it.
Well, she said she's not going to run for re-election, but that means that she's basically going.
She's still there till 2021.
Oh, we have one more bit of good news. We have one more bit of good news. The Red Sox won.
And the dagger goes in.
Actually, I was going to say there's more than just us as being protective parents out there, too. Here's some good news. A guy went into a McDonald's with his 2 teenage sons, and they had lunch. They were walking out, and a dude walked in and opened fire. Guy clipped his son. Dad busted out his gun and shot the shit out of that guy and killed him. Killed him fucking dead.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at my phone right now. Breaking news. Killing of 2 at Kentucky supermarket is being investigated as a hate crime. Once again, I would like to re-innovate. Okay, there's no such thing as a fucking hate crime. There's a crime. If I shoot MC, it doesn't matter if I shot MC because he was fucking black, white, yellow, green, purple, or orange.
Well,
it matters that I shot him. I'm sick of this hate crime bullshit.
The other thing is you could also argue that all crime is hate crime.
Wait, of course Hangout crashed. I hate to do this to the audience, but wait. Dude opened fire to the McDonald's, clipped his son, and what happened?
Okay, so this guy walks in. Dad shot him. Dad got grazed in the process, but dad shot the bad guy and killed him. Killed him fucking dead. Dead.
Yeah, no, and epileptic, I did mean reiterate. Sorry. My bad. I mispronounced that. And we had a whole argument in Discord earlier about the
aluminum.
Aluminum. It's aluminum, damn it.
I'm saying aluminum. Just
fuck off.
It's aluminium.
Shut up.
But yes, I couldn't even say reiterate correctly.
Aluminum.
Sorry.
It's Z and center is ER, not RE.
Jesus Christ, MC, you weren't even there for the argument.
Oh no, Sharadi spent an hour insisting that it's aluminium because she has a book from fucking Singapore.
I don't.
No, I was fucking with you, Tema, and you know it.
That was the worst troll ever because it made you sound retarded.
It's aluminum.
Of course, it made me sound retarded too because I'm going. That's.
I was taking college courses with a group that was based out of England at one point, and they did correct one of my papers because I refused to spell it CENTER or TRE rather, and I spelled it CENTER for center.
That's how you spell center, damn it! And I can't spell. Like son of a bitch.
I was telling the guys that I was telling everybody at the voice chat earlier. I remember so the head of the physics department in our school, he has more than one doctorate, but his main doctorate is in theoretical physics. He runs the entire physics department for the college I went to. This French foreign exchange student. No, we're all in class. We're on the other side of we're on the end of the hallway where the dean's office is, right? you hear this Frenchman standing in the middle of the hallway shouting, "It's aluminium, you ignorant son of a bitch!" I mean, it was like he's freaking out and cussing at the dean of physics, the head of the physics department, because the chemistry professors are saying, "No, asshole. In America, it's aluminum. You will write fucking aluminum. Speak George Washington's fucking English, asshole." So they're screaming at each other about how to pronounce aluminum.
When you need him?
Right? It's like it was just before, like, this is like 2000, 2001, so it's right before we had like flip phones where you could record everything, or I probably would have already have had like a viral YouTube channel just from putting up the arguments.
See,
from
I
the
would
physics department.
wait for Cabbage to see if Cabbage was here, right? Of course, he would take it's the Queen's English. It should be aluminium, and my comment back to him was, "So you're siding with the Frenchman?"
It's so true, though. So true.
Yeah, no, and Common Sense Guy's in the chat. He's probably cussing us out right now. It's aluminium.
What happens when one of your breakaway provinces gets away?
God damn. Okay, Jensen, can you people just learn how to talk already? I mean, come on. Did you create the language?
Well, if they couldn't figure out how to properly apply taxes to the Americas, then I don't think they're going to be able to figure out how to say aluminum.
Yeah. Come on, Jensen. Give your rebuttal.
Timma, I told you I was just trying to take your mind off of what happened to you yesterday.
I know, and I'm sorry, I freaked out. I was just like, oh my God, I can't handle this right now. Because in the middle of talking to you guys, I've got these two children coming in saying, "No, she's not doing this right. I said she has to do it this way." Yes, but you're in 6th grade, and I happen to have 2 degrees, and I've educated 2 other people to fruition and completion with their education. Why are you trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about when I've already taught her this process? You little shit. And so I'm dealing with that whole argument, and then I have the basically lobotomized sloth for a daughter come walking in going, "Yeah, well, they're really fighting about it now." And I'm going to kill something. It's going to be fluffy and adorable, and I'm going to stab it with ice picks and needles. Somebody make this fucking stop.
Holy shit! Nobody send her a lock of your hair. She'll make a fucking voodoo doll.
That would be great. And you're the closest one, Dodge. So
yeah.
Where was I looking up that store? I think I had that freaking on Google Maps at one point.
Oh God.
What, a voodoo doll?
Yes.
No, your house.
My husband.
Watch out for drones.
Yeah, I was saying that he's the closest one to get the hair.
I know.
For all of you who don't know, that's a joke. I have no idea where he actually lives, aside from he's somewhere in Oregon.
He lives in my basement.
Near Eugene. That's all I know.
He lives in my basement.
Send it to your basement.
Oh. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Measure 106 out of Oregon.
Explain this one to me, because the information provided on it is very unclear. We're having a hard time determining how that's supposed to be for or against voting, because it's so.
Yeah, it's really weird, and it's pretty much an abortion use. It's a cruel measure and a backdoor ban on abortion. Well, you're gonna make me vote yes. I mean,
well, yeah. But what's the backdoor ban on abortion? I couldn't find where any of that information was relevant, though.
Yeah, well, my wife just checked the mail and came in, and that's why. Like, I'm holding a pamphlet on it right now. 2 years ago, my husband John and I were expecting a baby we wanted very much, a sister to our daughter. At 20 weeks, our doctor gave us devastating news. Something was wrong with her brain. It's worse than we thought. The doctor told us after a follow-up scan, if our baby made it to full term, it was clear she was going to suffer. Our family's decision to end the pregnancy and let River go was the worst, hardest, and most loving decision Okay, I'm not reading anymore. Murdering the baby was a loving decision. Fuck yourself.
Well, that depends on what kind of disorder. They're talking about brain dysfunction. That's a pretty shitty way to go about it. Is that brain dysfunction as in Down syndrome at 20 weeks? That's usually when you do the amniocentesis to find out whether you have a Down's baby. Sounds like these people probably are older, later in life, so there's 45% chance you're going to have a Down's baby.
Well, here's what I'm reading from the Ballotopedia. It says, Oregon ban public funds for abortion initiative. This is 106. Yes,
You need to vote for that.
a yes vote supports the ballot initiative to prohibit public funds from being spent on abortions in Oregon, except when medically necessary or required by federal law. A no vote opposes the ballot initiative to prohibit public funds from being spent on abortions in Oregon, except when medically necessary or required by federal law.
Well, yeah, no, and if Tema
I will totally go for that. I'm down for that measure. I couldn't understand any of that, brother. You wrote about it.
Yeah, you did. You wrote about it right on out.
All right, is it better now? Or do I need
There you
to
go.
Add the following to the Oregon Constitution. Section 1, prohibition on public funding for abortion. The state shall not spend public funds. Notice the state shall not spend public funds for any abortion except when medically necessary or may be required by federal law. Section 2, definitions. As used in this article, public funds means funds or monies under the control or in the custody of the state of Oregon or any of its political subdivision or public officials. 2, abortion means the purposeful termination of a clinically diagnosed pregnancy of a woman resulting in the death of a human embryo or fetus. 3, medically necessary means a condition in which the licensed physician determines that the pregnant woman suffers from a physical disorder, physical injury, or physical illness that would place her in danger of death unless an abortion is performed, including a life-endangering physical condition caused by or arising from the pregnancy itself. Section 3, exception.
Real quick, before you get to Section 3, I have a question, though. When they say public funds, are they talking about the Oregon Health Plan, or are they talking about the public funds that get funneled into Planned Parenthood?
They're talking about any public fund, any funds that's under the control or custody of the state of Oregon. So if they've released those funds for a different purpose and you then spend it, then it's fine because it's no longer under the control of the state of Oregon. Or in the custody of the state.
Oh, so we're going to see a new group start to come around.
Hi, Sith. Your camera's on.
Public funds may be spent to pay for an abortion when federal law requires the states to provide funding for abortions, such as in circumstances including rape, incest, in which case this article shall be applied consistent with federal law to the extent that the federal requirement is found to be constitutional. 2. Section 3.2. Public funds may be spent to pay for the termination of a clinically diagnosed ectopic. Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Pregnancy.
Ectopic. That's fallopian tube implant.
Okay. Other provision. Nothing in this article shall be construed as prohibiting the expenditure of public funds to pay for health insurance as long as such funds are not spent to pay or reimbursed for the cost of performing abortion.
I didn't have sanity.
Yeah, I know you didn't have sanity. You stole it from me.
This is interesting. This means that a public health insurance for the public health care, the public sector workers, if they are getting health insurance through whatever government program there is, that it can't be used to pay for abortion.
So that would be nice.
Now, I don't know how that's going, because that contradicts, to be honest, Obamacare.
Well, Obamacare actually contradicts federal statute already in place, though, doesn't it? Because we already have it on the books that federal tax dollars are not supposed to go for abortions.
Yes, I mean, there are those aspects of it, but I'm not sure how all that plays out if it has to go to court. And unfortunately, somebody that's the poorest will be the ones who.
Med, you need to vote for this so that it gets passed, because only my youngest gets to vote. They screwed us.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely voting for it. They had me at the fact where they talked about a backdoor fucking ban on abortion. Okay, I'm good with that. Anyway, though, the thing is, though, if this contradicts federal statute, how is that going to play out? And also, this blue wave idea, I don't think it's going to happen. Kate Brown is up by 3.4%. That's it. Margin of error is 6 to 8%. She's not winning. That means the governor might go Republican for the first time in 20 years in Oregon. We're turning red, aren't we?
Blue wave, don't you mean blue splash?
Look, guys, when it comes to that kind of stuff, we don't know what to believe in the polls. That's the reality of the situation right now. There could be a blue wave. We could all be wrong about this. I don't suspect it, but we definitely could be wrong. It could be a red wave, in which case the polling was really wrong. That's a possibility. Or it could turn out that the polling is right, that the Senate becomes, from a federal level, the Senate becomes more red, and the Congress, the House of Representatives, switches from Republican control to Democrat.
Yeah, but MC, what?
We're not going to know until the votes are counted, dude.
I know that, but what happens if Oregon gets a fucking Republican governor for the first time in 25 years?
Oh, you mean it might be safe to walk down the streets of Portland again?
Actually, MC, I want to get your take on this, just because I found it very interesting that I noticed both of these stories today. And one of them comes from one of your favorite individuals, Tim Pool, and the other comes from another overtaxed taxpayer, a guy I follow on YouTube. You should check him out. He actually does some pretty decent stuff. But one instance was people that were voting either straight red or straight blue in early voting in Texas were noticing that their ballots were getting flipped, or they just weren't being counted. And the other instance, the one that Tim Pool covered, is that the Democratic convention, I believe they're based out of Austin, they were sending not exactly official documents by government standards, but documents where I'm a U.S. citizen and I'm over 18 years. Yeah, registration documents.
Yeah, Tanya pointed that out to me days ago.
Yeah, they were talking about it.
Isn't this interesting that this is also coming at the time where we have, a caravan, as they call it, coming to the border, and one of the crossing points happens to be one of the counties where this was happening happens to be where some of these migrants would find themselves in. I find the whole thing to be very coincidental, but I would like some outside opinions.
And real quick, Timma, have you gotten your ballot yet? My wife and I already got ours. So.
My daughter got hers. We didn't get to register. We didn't get to register to vote. We spent hours at the DMV trying to get our everything done before the cutoff date. And apparently the state labor union board here has decided that tests cannot be given after 4 p.m. So if you have kids and you educate them or anything like that, you have to find separate sitters and everything else to get your driver's license in the state of Oregon. And if you don't, by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you can't, and if you live if you're coming from out of state, you have to take a new driver's test, not the driven test, but the written test. And they have a lot of things they like to make people delay and wait if they're over 35 and trying to get their driver's license.
Unfortunately, I cannot vote because some asshole stole my wallet, which I was an idiot and left my social security card in. So I have to go to the vital statistics in Santa Fe and bring my birth certificate and Blue Cross Blue Shield card to get my fucking social security card back. And then get an ID because I don't drive anymore due to anxiety attacks. I'm done.
I've already voted. My ballot's already in the mail.
Oh, you guys do mail-in too? I didn't know that.
You can request it, which at the time period when I was early on, when I was traveling all the time, I could never guarantee it I would be home to vote. I actually prefer to go to the voting booth. But if I can't, if I'm going to be on the road, then I'm not going to miss out my chance of voting. So I requested it. You can request an early ballot, and once they put me on the early ballot, now all my balloting is done early.
Okay, yeah, Oregon went straight up mail-in voting. What, 10 years ago? I think. I mean, it's been forever ago.
Yeah. So, but no, the thing about the caravan is there's a couple more details that have been announced recently. One, MADDS isn't sending 500 people to the border; he's sending 5,000. So there's a few more troops coming to the border than what they initially thought. Okay, so at least it sounds like now they're taking it seriously.
Wait,
right?
Did you say 5,000?
5,000 troops, yes.
Wow, I did not see that.
Straight Sith.
Yeah, it's in the Hangout link.
Real quick, Sith. Jez in the chat is asking
5,200 active duty troops to harden the U.S.-Mexican border.
I thought we were up to like 5,000 or something like that.
Oh wait,
Troops
so they're
being
sending
deployed.
active duty? Are we?
Yeah, and MADDS is not just pulling the Coast Guard or National Guard.
Yeah, he's not just pulling to 500. He's pulling 5,000. He's not playing games.
Well, who would, dude? There's a second caravan coming. It's literally a fucking invasion.
Yes.
The Mexicans are actually pushing the second caravan back. There were people that I put a shit ton of stuff from the second caravan into the Redeye stream. People are actually dying from the second caravan because the Mexican police and federal government from there federal police are trying to stop them.
Well, they're not going to have a choice. They're going to be the game is over with this crap. You're not dealing with somebody who's just going to let this kind of invasion continue to take place. And this is an invasion. You cannot call it anything else.
Especially when they're saying, like, no, man, I don't want to go to Mexico. I just want to go to America. I want Buffalo Wild Wings and PlayStations. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys, dude.
If you want it, build one there. Why do you have to build it here in the United States? Oh, that's right, because your country's corrupt. Well, why don't you fix the corruption in your own frigging country?
Well, real quick.
Go ahead, MADDS.
Yeah, Straight Sith Mail. You were called a New Yorker in the chat. If you want to disclose where you're from, what state at least, then you can. But yeah, you were called a New Yorker. I just find that funny.
Really? I'm from Mexico. I'm a fucking light-skinned Hispanic asshole. No, not from New York.
This is funny. I pissed somebody off a few days ago because they were talking about that whole oh, well, he just wants Buffalo Wild Wings and he wants to be with his kids and everything. He needs to leave. He's already been deported once, by the way, in case anybody missed that little, tidbit of information. And I mentioned, okay, so why don't you vote a specific way in your own country? Maybe franchise a Buffalo Wild Wings. And, oh, by the way, not only do you get to enjoy Buffalo Wild Wings, you get to own a business, make some money, do better by your community, help out your fellow man, woman, whatever you want, your fellow people kind, so as the Trudeau would say. Open a business, contribute back to your community, and maybe you'll make enough money that you can just bring your family back so you can be with them. Gee, I wonder. But no, instead we're going to cross a few thousand miles, potentially risking your own life. For what?
Xbox
Some
and Buffalo Wild
chicken
Wings.
Some fucking chicken wings?
And Halo.
Are you saying that somebody could be a poo?
Potentially, yes. Yes. The American dream doesn't have to be limited to just America. It's a philosophy. It's, if you're willing to do hard work, take a little bit of risk, Well,
How
surprise,
dare you
surprise.
speak common sense, Doku? Shush yourself now.
Surprise, surprise. If you're willing to work hard and you take some risks, the reward generally tend to fucking, be pretty good by all standards. Unless you want to go complete communist, in which case, we all die of starvation. But maybe that's just me. Perhaps I'm old-fashioned.
You know what? You can be old-fashioned. It still works. Sometimes old-fashioned is old-fashioned for a fucking reason. We could call it time, tested through time, but, we aren't allowed to say that anymore either. It's too sexist.
When did Father Time become... Oh, wait, never mind.
Tim, you be chained to
Dude, that's so gay.
It's person time now.
Last I heard, gay meant happy. Queer kid stuff told me so.
Well, I know she would have said, well, then stop being gay. I know she would have said it.
I was watching something from Crowder earlier today. I think it was a two genders thing. There's two genders.
Oh, you wanted to change my minds?
Yeah. And I don't know, someone was raging, but they always rage on his show. And I don't know.
You talking about the chick that was it the two genders one, or was it the rape culture does not exist one?
Oh, there's two genders one. I know that one, and I know that, but yeah, I can't remember if it was the trans woman or if it was the intersex woman. But I know there was only two people on that one.
Oh, he always ends up with a screaming harpy.
Anyways, she was freaking out because somehow she got on the topic of trans people having either a male brain and a female brain. Oh, shit. Lost my headphones.
She just threw her phone across the room because male brain and female brain makes her want to pee herself.
She got on the topic of trans people either having a male brain or a female brain, and Crowder started using that against her.
Well, that's because it's not true.
Well, that's what we call a hormonal disorder.
Well, I was going to say there's no proof that somebody with that's transgender or transsexual, there's no proof that their brain is physiologically built more like the other sex. There's no proof the brain is built that way. And there may be other genetic factors that change, chemical things and stuff like that, but that has nothing to do with brain structure itself. There's no neurological basis for that assertion. Other than if you want to go look at the size of an Abdullah oblongata. But if you do that, you have to take into account that gay men tend to have a naturally smaller Abdullah oblongata than heterosexual men. Well, you have to admit that right off the bat. And you won't get them to do it.
I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, no, there are effeminate men and there are masculine women. As you found out yesterday, there are very masculine women.
Well, yeah.
Org smash.
But there's no science to support it, though. Okay, there's personality types and all that shit, yes, but there is no data anywhere to suggest that a transsexual's brain is physiologically built different than a heterosexual or a cisnormative person's brain. There's zero evidence for that.
Don't use cis. That's a new thing that people are being. Or they're supposed to use because reasons.
Okay, real quick. I'm gonna be a bit of a troll here. If somebody has a Twitter account that they're not afraid to have permanently banned, I just want you to make this specific tweet. Just tweet XXXY with hashtag will not be erased and see how long it takes Twitter to ban you. I'm going to guess 48 hours.
You're a bastard. That's awesome.
I'm a dick.
What am I tweeting?
Capital X, then capital X, capital Y, with hashtag will not be erased.
All right.
Oof. I'm sure Eddie's unafraid. She's so badass.
I have a bunch of Dems following me too. So
Oh, this is going to be glorious. Please, please take screenshots. Archive this shit. It's going to be amazing. Don't blame me for any backlash you get, though. I did nothing wrong.
I get backlash a lot, so I'm not afraid.
Shirati does not give a shit how other people feel.
If I'm online, I don't care. If I'm online, I don't care. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. I'm out of time. I think they're gonna start killing each other in a moment. So
okay.
Oh, you have fun with that.
You know, you should record that. That'd be a lot of good footage for your channel.
It would, and then I would be in jail, and it would be great.
Yeah, I'm Daddy 05 status. I gotcha.
So yeah, because they actually are pretty brutal towards each other, and if you guys could hear the way they talk to each other, you'd be like, oh my god.
You got gladiator fights going on. I'm glad I live in the basement and I don't have to hear it.
Exactly, it's well insulated. Well insulated, man. Padding has a purpose.
There you go, Sith. It's in Gen Chat.
All right, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Take it easy, Emma. Bye.
Later. Oh, right, you have to take screen caps of whatever the Twitter response is to that, because I already have a shit-eating grin on my face just thinking about what's going to happen.
What's going on with Twitter anyway? I mean, what, you repost an NPC meme and they ban you now? Gab is deplatformed. I know we talked about that for 2 hours yesterday. We don't have to go back to it, but it is still kind of a big fucking deal, right? They got Alex Jones. I mean, they're fucking gone. You can't even fucking pay them money now.
Well, it's showing what they can get away with. So
I almost guarantee you I will not get banned.
Why?
We'll find out. The thing is, though, the pendulum will swing the other way, and we're going to hit back, and we're going to hit back hard. You try and censor us, we will find a way to get our message out.
Well, and that was kind of the point I made earlier, and I was actually specifically talking about this was on the Red Elephant, one of his videos. But, you know, how they're complaining about, oh, you can't criticize Soros or whatever the fucking other guy's name is because, you know, they're Jewish and that's anti-Semitism and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you can criticize whoever the fuck you want.
Well, this is specifically what I said. I'm not going to quote it exactly verbatim because, to be blunt, I don't exactly remember what I said verbatim. But what I said was essentially this. Who gives a fuck if George Soros is fucking Jewish? He's not even a practicing Jew. He never has been. This is a guy who has been manipulating politics and crushing sovereign nation citizens under the weight of his billions of dollars, which he acquired by manipulating currencies, by the way, for fucking decades. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's Jewish. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It has to do with the fact that he's an underhanded jackass who will do anything and everything to maintain power and prop up his own financial well-being. No one is fucking free from criticism. Absolutely no one. And if you try to hide behind that guise of, oh, I'm a marginalized fucking this or that, or he's like, oh, you can't criticize Soros, one of the most powerful fucking men in the goddamn world, one of the richest men in the goddamn world, but you can't criticize him because he's fucking Jewish? Bull fucking shit.
Bullshit. And, okay, they say you can't criticize Soros at all, right? But on the other hand,
criticize the hell out of Ben Shapiro?
Well, no, the Koch brothers. What about the other side of the fucking coin? What about the people donating to the Libertarians and the Republicans? What about the Koch brothers? They're fucking evil, right?
It's because it's selective criticism. You know, criticize my political and ideological opponents, but don't you dare criticize me.
Well, no, and there's even a lot of people on the right that don't really like the Koch brothers. I happen to actually like the Koch brothers. They helped the Gary Johnson campaign in 2016 immensely. They also backed Ron Paul in 2012. I happen to like them.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything they have to say, but I don't dislike them. But I'm sure as shit not going to say they're free from criticism. I don't care who you are. I mean, shit, I voted for Trump and I criticize that bastard all the damn time.
Oh, you actually voted for Orange Man? Oh, don't you know Orange Man bad?
1-1-0-1-0-0-1-0-1-1-1-0-1.
That's just rude.
What'd you say about my mama?
God, you just sounded like my daughter. She says that all the time.
What?
Yeah, well, I don't like your binary code. We need a fucking trimary code. I know that's not a real word, but you know.
Well, you know what? I only have one thing to say to you, sir. 1-0-1-0-0-1-0-1-0-0-1-2.
He'll need a melon to do that one.
Well, somebody call Japan. I need a square melon.
We are not doing that again. Fuck you, Jensen.
Hey, by the way, pineapple belongs on pizza. No.
I mean, if we're not going with melons or cantaloupe, does that work?
No, it doesn't.
I'm not a fan of cantaloupe. It's too orange. It's kind of like Orange Man, and Orange Man bad.
Hey, memes, we need somebody to talk about the Red Sox.
I will fucking kill him. That's why he's not around right now. He's scared. Hiding under a rock.
He's not. I mean, I pretty much harassed him pretty heavily yesterday. So. But no, look. I mean, when it comes right down to this crap, I mean, it's first of all the idea that Soros is an innocuous, just regular kind of person and everything else is just ridiculous. All right, his goal, and he has said it in the past, is to destroy economies, and he did destroy at one point Hungary's economy. All right, he came close to destroying England's economy.
Real quick, MC, real quick. Who was it that said, I care not who runs your government as long as I control your bank?
It was a Rothschild. It was one of the Rothschilds.
It was either the Rothschilds or J.P. Morgan.
Don't you think George Soros believes in the same methodology?
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares one way or another about somebody else's methodology. I think he's in it for himself. It's not a matter of this person's methodology or that person's methodology or whatever, right? It comes down to, okay, what are you doing and why are you doing it? All right? George Soros is a Marxist. George Soros is a communist who believes that, like a lot of them, that he'll be the one on top. So he doesn't care who gets hurt in the meantime.
Yeah, but do we need to go full Alex Jones and just call it like it is? He's a globalist. He wants a global economy. That way he can make more money off it. Does he even have children? Like, where's all this money going to go?
His children are as bad as he is. His
children if you don't know about Soros's kid, just go check out his oldest son. That dude is a fucking piece of work.
Yeah,
and he might even be worse than his dad.
Exactly.
I mean,
he's raising
some of the shit they say would make you shake your head. They wouldn't be nearly as terrifying if not for two reasons. First off, the ideology that they adhere to and the methodology that they have, and they have the money to back it. And they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They have a strategy that has been tried and true and well tested, and it's rarely ever failed. I mean, you're talking about the guy that brags about collapsing the fucking Bank of England. That's like a badge of honor to him.
Yep.
This is the kind of individual you're dealing with. And oh, by the way, he has billions of dollars behind him and funds how many different fucking NGOs? I know the Open Border Society is the one that's currently being talked about the most.
Right.
Who is also currently helping that caravan.
Yep. He's big into that stuff.
Okay, which is why you see so many damn Star of David trucks.
How is it anti-Semitic to talk shit about George Soros, even though he fucked over other Jews in Germany just to keep his fucking ass from the gulag.
Because that's his proverbial force field. He's, despite the fact that he has billions of dollars and is arguably one of the most influential political individuals, definitely one of the most influential financial individuals in the entire fucking world, but he's Jewish. You can't criticize him, and he has powerful friends in high places.
Real quick, I don't even know this. This is a genuine question. How did he make his billions?
Currency manipulation. He made his money through the COMEX exchange. He basically traded currencies
he was in the
back
banking
and forth.
industry. He was
he
was
didn't
a
actually
banker
make
pretty much
anything.
then.
Yeah, he didn't make anything. What he did is he went long on certain currencies, shorted other currencies, and used secondary and third parties to, make himself profitable. Because you're not violating SEC rules.
Well, no, he did though. But he wasn't part.
He
he
definitely
wasn't in the
did.
United States at the time, and so therefore he wasn't subject to those rules. He was
That's why
doing
he's
insider
wanted.
trading with currency. Right?
That's why he's wanted in what?
Isn't he German?
3 countries? No,
no, he's Hungarian.
He's Hungarian. He's banned from the country of Hungary. Russia has basically a bounty out on his head.
Brian.
Why, hello.
Brian, you fat bastard. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Yo, Brian, what's up, dude?
Oh, it's Doku. What up, Doku?
Chillin', man. How you been?
Pretty good. Just working on a video.
Hey Brian, instead of that, you should be making me a sandwich. Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
Well, if you're working on a video, what the fuck are you doing here?
Look, I'm not the one that gets yelled at.
Wait a minute. Sharadi's already here. Why isn't she making you a sandwich?
Fuck off, dude. I'm the one who does the
The
yelling.
reason you asked me is because I got bigger boobs.
Are you sure about that, honey? What size of bra do you wear?
Triple D.
Oh, I guess you gotta beat me.
I know, right?
That's something.
Look, I wasn't making offense at you. I was mostly saying I have giant tits.
Did you buy them?
No, sadly, I think it was all the weed.
Homegrown, natural, all natural.
Yeah, and now I'm sending my pipe down. I don't want booze.
What he means, he doesn't want bigger than he's already got.
Hey, fuck you, Justin.
You kind of walked into that one, sugar.
No, they really aren't kidding when they say that muscle turns to fat. Because I had those lovely perky man pecs, and then I stopped working out, and now they're saggy, not so good no more.
But yeah, no, we're just bitching about our favorite billionaire, George Soros. So
So you mean the guy that donated to the Trump campaign?
Okay.
Anybody have a cricket soundboard?
Okay. This is after we've talked about Finland and child raping, and
why is there always something like that in all of these streams? What is going on?
no, they legalized it
Where?
Finland.
in Finland.
Oh, well, that's just the Finnish. That's just what they do. They got a whole bunch of weird legal things there that they're allowed to do.
They're very tolerant.
Yeah,
As
apparently.
young as 10.
Sounds like Utah.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, fuck.
What? You can get married in Utah at 11, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, no, you.
Are you bringing in the Mormons?
Yeah. You have to have your parents' consent, but I'm pretty sure you can. I'll look it up right now.
11?
I got you.
Holy
Yeah, he's talking about the Mormons.
Yeah, the morons.
But it's still.
That's fucked up.
Well then.
Well, they have fucking special sheets to have sex, right?
Right, they changed it to 15. It was 11. It was 12, and then in 2014 they changed it to 15.
Yep.
And then
Yes,
we
that's
talked about
little
the plane that. Ew. And then we talked about the plane that went down, I think it was near Jakarta, and killed everybody that was in it.
Utah's not the only one. Alabama too.
Oh no.
Hawaii's 15. The more you know.
Yeah, right.
Well then,
We
And
were
this
talking
is
about
why
the
I drink.
caravan.
That doesn't mean, though, there's a difference between selling your kid to somebody for being married versus giving them up to say, you know what, you can wander around the street and go ahead and rape my child.
What the fuck over?
Whoa, what? Massachusetts? Massachusetts is 12 still.
Ew.
What
Ew.
the fuck?
Ew.
Yeah, with parents'
Ew.
consent. Males 14, female 12.
No.
Yep.
That's another reason to kick memes is that.
So while we
now,
were
now
looking,
you got a reason to hate on memes.
Wait, isn't Massachusetts the state that Elizabeth Warren is a representative of?
Yeah,
I believe
Pocahontas did
so.
come from Massachusetts. That's true.
It all
Oh.
makes sense.
Is Elizabeth Warren really going to run for president?
Yes.
I hope she does because it'll be fucking hilarious if she does.
Yes, indeed, Doku.
I would love to see that. If Trump fucking shit talking Hillary wasn't good enough, I would just love to see what he would do in a 2020 campaign against Warren. That would be
but
amazing.
Ventura's definitely going to win in
Isn't
2020.
Avenatti running for president as well?
He kind of mentioned it, but he didn't really confirm one way or the other.
Isn't Avenatti creepy porn lawyer?
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. He's quite the character, to say the least.
He's definitely something. I'm around children,
Yeah,
otherwise
definitely
I would
something.
speak some choice words.
Yeah, he's something. I just don't know what that something is.
Well, I have
don't
headphones
think
on.
they
You
have
guys
words.
can say whatever the hell you
Don't know
want.
what it is. Stepped in it once.
Well, we know what it is, but it's words that will get Mad Dog banned off YouTube, and
course
I don't
you
want to
did.
do that to him.
Sure, it's adorable.
You know what else is adorable? That mannequin.
Oh.
We're not going to go down that roll, are we?
We are not going down the road where you want to fuck my mannequin's ear holes again.
I mean, the only thing that mannequin needs is at least like a watermelon in one hand. Just one. That's all I ask for.
The only thing the mannequin needs.
First it was the nose, and then it was the ear holes, and Goku, you're just weird.
So what's wrong with fucking mannequins?
I know,
Yeah,
it's just
I
trying to
don't see a
shame me.
problem.
I'm trying to be very progressive here.
Look, there are a lot of lonely men out there, and that's the only way that they're going to have any sort of relationship. So, I mean, it's better than them buying AR-15s, right?
As long as you get
See,
consent.
Brian actually gets me.
Hey, you know what?
It's
No.
not the matter of them buying the AR-15s. It's that they have such bad freaking target practice.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was Randy Stair with the shotgun, and what did he shoot? 56 bullets and killed 3 people?
There's nothing wrong with buying AR-15s. No,
Okay,
Mom ran away.
I'm going to state what just came to my mind, even though every logical fucking neuron in my brain is telling me not to.
My computer. So
The next-
I think it starts at
The next bump stock is going to be an AR-15 attached to a fleshlight.
Oh, dude, that's going to be so soft.
We're going to be reading about the man who died by mannequin.
Well,
Mannequin kills man in bed.
can't you just stick a vibrator in the trigger guard?
Why not both?
Oh my
Why not
God,
both?
you guys,
This is what
I'm so
happens
glad
when you don't get dog consent.
Yep.
I'm so glad I'm wearing headphones.
Yes,
Not safe for work.
Oh, yeah? I mean, I found a version of this for you if you'd like a
Oh my god, did you seriously?
Hold,
Rule 34.
here it is. Hold my beer.
Rule 34.
Where is this at, Brian? Make it appear somewhere.
Oh goodness.
I will make it appear somewhere. Where's let's see here.
God.
What the unholy fuck?
Let's see here. I gotta
goodness.
go to your there it is. Your general's not safe for work, right?
No.
It looks like it's got a little tag on it.
No, what the unholy fuck is where it belongs.
Okay, but I mean, this is like safe for work. You could show it on screen if you wanted to.
Oh.
It's just a fleshlight. I mean, unless you think seeing fleshlights is inappropriate.
My children watch this show sometimes, so if they happen upon it.
Oh my god! Okay,
It's gonna be a long conversation.
I was just dealing with kids, and I came back to Brian talking about fleshlights. What the fuck?
He was
Okay,
talking
well-
about flesh bump stocks.
Yeah, here you go. It's not exactly.
Get it right.
Yeah, check it out. There it is in your what the unholy fuck.
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
Just,
Oh,
Again, Dad, this is
I
your own
wouldn't say it
fault.
like that again. I really would.
Your own fault for bringing such degenerates on the show.
Okay. I get some people really like guns, but this is getting ridiculous.
Whoa. That's not the only one. There's multiple.
Oh shit! I just checked it.
You realize that this is gonna freaking end humanity as it exists.
That last one will.
Oh my god. Oh, no.
That brings a whole new meaning to this is my rifle, this is my gun. This one's for shooting, that one's for gun.
It really does.
See, when I expected to open up a fucking rabbit hole to jump down, I wasn't expecting to find Pandora's box at the bottom of it.
Oh, you left the link open to me. That's your first thing.
Yeah, you fucked
sugar.
up.
Oh look, an open link. What monsters in here?
You can hear me pitching my fingers going. Hoi, 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 hoi.
That looks like a little mouth, though.
I know that's the mouth fleshlight. You never seen those?
Oh no.
Oh, they have vampire teeth on some of them.
You fucking
boy.
degenerate.
Don't tell Thorne about that one.
You waited for that point before you said degenerate.
Yeah, that's completely degenerate.
You really did have to mention that to a fucking Mondo troll, didn't you?
And I wanted to see where the road led.
You take your
And-
child out to go for his first deer hunt.
Oh boy.
Dad, why does that look like mom?
Oh my god! Hi, Gemma. Are you coming back?
Check this one out. That's pretty good.
Oh man. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Oh, hello.
Oh dear God!
That is well, for the audience who can't see that is a fleshlight shaped like Predator's head.
Oh my god!
And then there is this one. Not too bad.
Oh no!
This is like
What
a
am I
whole
walking
fucking industry
into
built
now?
around.
It's like he has to share.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that. All right. Off to Twitter I go.
Oh no!
So that one is a fleshlight shaped like a pig's snout. I also I like to call it the Queen of the South. And then here's a fleshlight shaped like a water bear.
Oh.
99999, as Hitler would say.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hey, Brian, can you find a fleshlight shaped like a watermelon? Just asking for a friend.
That's a good question. Before I send that, because I'm sure I can, there is I don't know why you'd want this, but a zombie mouth.
Oh yeah.
That seems like it could be bad. You don't want to put your wiener in that. Or do you? And then there
Quinn might.
is
Like to live dangerously.
yeah, and then there is dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what was the request? Was a melon?
A watermelon.
Yes, specifically a watermelon.
And he would like it attached to Sherardi's mannequin, but you know that's a different story.
I'm just asking for a friend, damn it.
You know, I mean, all I get when I put in fleshlight watermelon is just a bunch of dudes banging watermelons. So I'm not seeing a whole lot here. Let's switch that wording around.
Yeah, I'm already on it.
Wait, did you say peeing in watermelon?
No, banging.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Did they at least microwave the watermelon first?
Is that kind of like the apple pie thing? I mean, I don't know.
I'm assuming so.
No.
Nope. I think you're out of luck with the watermelon fleshlight, buddy.
Not happening.
Darn.
Well, I mean, there's not technically a fleshlight, but they're turning it into a fleshlight.
Well, see, at least now we know there's a supply-demand gap, so maybe somebody can capitalize on this.
That's true. That's true. The inside could be shaped like a bunch of seeds.
Okay,
Oh, now it's getting pinky.
I just do not understand the fleshlight. What's so wrong with just fucking jerking off real quick? It doesn't take you but a couple fucking minutes and you're done.
Whoa. Jesus Christ, man, you're a savage.
No, what's going on? What's happening?
You have to caress. It's gotta be a loving embrace with yourself.
Oh.
Just lock and load another freaking 30-round magazine. You'll be fine.
No. How are you ever gonna get to 13 in one day if you're just roughing up the skin and everything?
Well, no. I get it now. Why people use bump stocks? It's for the fucking gun attachment fleshlight.
Yeah.
See, Mad Dodge, you finally understand my brilliance.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Don't even get me started on the reverberation.
Oh,
No.
oh my god. Check this out. I'm going to post it in the chat here. The title of the actual, like, the page that it was on was "It's Moist."
Oh, wow. So
God, someone send that to a Megon. Someone please send that to a Megon.
It's just a watermelon with a hole cut in the center. That's amazing.
I'm in his server. I could send it to him.
Do it. Fucking do it.
You
Man, you would do it.
do it. Do it.
See, you've already committed to the bit. You got to follow through now.
Yeah. You know I would. But I'm probably blocked from him.
See, the thing is, it might be moist. It might be moist, but did they at least microwave it for 35 seconds to make sure it's warm?
Let's see here. Watermelon gangbang, watermelon porn, watermelon cum, watermelon fucking, watermelon ass, watermelon pussy, watermelon dick, watermelon farm. No watermelon flashlight.
Wait, watermelon farm.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about. Watermelon farm. Do tell.
It's just part of the search, but no watermelon fleshlight.
I need to know about this farm.
So we have an entire farm of watermelon fleshlights? Is that what you're telling me?
No. Watermelon sex
do
toy
we leave them
men.
out in the sun?
Okay. All right.
You found it, eh?
This stream is headed down a bad path.
Watermelon sex
Air
toy men.
quotes bad.
Again, Dodge.
You know what? Sometimes you just got to jump down the rabbit hole.
How many times has this stream gone down the degeneracy hole?
Well, no, you just got to jump into the watermelon, it sounds like.
That is.
I just want to make it clear that the emphasis here should be on the word whole.
Oh.
The voices and opinions of the Redeye stream do not reflect in the real world. Mad Dodge does not endorse such thoughts.
However, he won't say whether or not any watermelons were harmed in the making of this stream.
Yeah, I have no idea what Jensen's over there doing. He's been quiet.
He's buying a watermelon.
He's buying a watermelon. He's not buying a watermelon.
Quinn.
Yes.
No cantaloupes were harmed in the making of this production.
Yeah, I don't know what all the hate is against cantaloupes. Why just the watermelons?
Yeah, they had it coming.
It's diversity.
Check with the unholy fuck. Sugar.
It'll be the zucchini wars. Victim of the zucchini wars.
I mean, it doesn't get serious until you start talking about the butternut squash. Then you know shit's getting real.
What about butternut?
Oh no! Hell
no! So we're back to pumpkins. Really?
Full circle. That's how you know it's a good stream.
All right, pumpkin fleshlight. What's going on?
Pumpkin light.
No, they were sticking pumpkins up me a couple of days ago and dropping a house on me just to see it pop.
What?
Wait, what?
Wait.
You're off. That's right. Explain that. You really were.
They kept saying they were going to shove pumpkins and eggplants and squash up me and drop a house on me to watch them pop. Oh, and cucumbers.
And marrows.
Okay, I only have one question. I only have one question. Which one wins the Oppression Olympics? The fruits or the vegetables?
Oh my god. Really?
Really? I'm legitimately curious.
We are not going down this hole again.
I think this is the hole we need to go down.
That's why I sent Quinn the pumpkin.
Good job.
Oh,
Hi, Batman.
Yeah, you start talking about pumpkins up a certain hole and Batman shows up.
Why didn't they shove cockles and mussels alive up there?
Oh! Oh, so wrong on so many levels.
The pumpkins weren't?
About the
They are wrong, but I'm probably one of the few females that can actually take the joke and run with it.
What is he? Now they can take a pumpkin?
You don't run with it, you own the bloody thing.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
I'm being complimentary.
Yeah. Even Dodge was taking shots at me, which is weird because he is usually quiet and muted.
Hey, Sharati, mean people suck. Show me how mean you can be. Sorry, kidding. Don't stab me. Walking away.
Oh, yeah, honey.
Hello there, gay Jedi female.
Hey, fuck you, Batman. No, I'm just kidding. How you doing, brother?
Oh, honey, if I wanted to be mean to you, I'd get Lady Sith to go after you.
Hey, fair enough.
Now, if she wanted to be mean with you, she'd start doing something with that mannequin.
Oh no! Don't bring up the mannequin.
Doku.
If you wanted to be mean, you should pay for Cabbage to visit you.
Well, no, I'm just wondering why Doku's so fixated on that mannequin.
Because ever since he got drunk that day, he has wanted my mannequin, which is strange because at first he thought it was creepy as hell.
It's obvious he has a plastic fetish.
Maybe I just have a very interesting sense of sexual attraction.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
I don't know. It keeps looking at me with those lustrous eyes.
Well, then I'll change its head and take another picture.
Now I'm just curious.
Yeah, variety. Do it.
Well, paint the eyes out and scare him even more.
Staple gun the second head on, really getting excited.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a transgender Roswell Grey.
Well, as long as you don't name it Riley, we'll be fine.
Oh.
Just say it.
There is actually, just out of
I
curiosity.
think we scared MC away.
Just out of curiosity, I went and looked, and there's actually a real girl on Twitter called Riley Dennis. I caught one of her posts because she was complaining about that Riley Dennis.
I like how you preface that with a real girl.
Yeah.
It's true though. Let's be honest.
It's a real boy.
It is true. It is true.
That's
A girl that
what
doesn't
I
have an
missed
Adam's
yesterday.
apple.
That real
Right.
face.
Do Road Warriors?
Sorry, what? You're cutting way out.
Oh, sorry. Did you do Weekend Warriors yesterday?
No, we actually had to cancel because Bunny was sick, and I think that Fine Print had work call in or something. But I also was sort of busy, so I was like, yeah, well, why don't we just cancel? We'll do it next week. It's not a big deal. But other than that, we're still doing it. So.
Well, I object. It is a big deal. I need in my cringy videos, damn it.
Oh, dude, we have a stockpile now because we have a group chat that's just me, Bunny, and Finer Print, and there's no talking in there really. It's other than like, hey, are we all good for the stream? Other than that, it's just videos, and I probably dropped about 20 videos in there last night, and then Finer Print probably dropped another 10 videos before that. And there's a lot of cringe in there. We got a lot of really cool things coming up. Like there's a guy that likes to bitch at people about the fact that they own birds. I don't know why, and it's funny. It's really funny, actually. Because I don't know. I don't want to give too much away. I've seen about the first 15 seconds. I usually do a slight preview of the video just to make sure it is what it says it is, rather than having. We've had a couple of times where we'll put a video up and it's like it's supposed to be alt-right ASMR, and it's like, what is this? What are we listening? What is this? This is just somebody making weird noises. This is a Poe. The other thing is, now that we're starting to gather some steam, people have been sending in videos, which is beautiful. I love having audience participation. If anyone wants to send in a video for us to go over, feel free to. Just send it to me. We'll look it over, make sure it's not not safe for work, because I know YouTube sometimes can have that. And then you will most likely end up going over it.
Okay, so you've seen the Finer Print's mug. He's not Asian, is he?
Oh no, he's a 5-foot Asian man.
Lies.
No, he is.
No, he is.
He is, but he's like a darker Asian man, so he really does look like Dinesh D'Souza, which is why he hates being called Dinesh D'Souza. So just make sure that you call him Dinesh D'Souza every time you see him.
Or at least Dinesh. He'll know who you are.
You know what I'd find amusing is if Big Fat Brian turned out to be short and slim.
Well, I mean, it would be hard to do considering my videos, but yeah.
Oh, goddamn
Well,
it.
that just could be somebody else in some really great lipstick, though.
Well, I'll give you a little hint.
I'm joking.
No. It's beautiful lipstick.
Lip sync.
Lipstick too.
Lip sync. My bad. Gave away a trade secret. But I actually bought the chef's coat and hat that I'm wearing intentionally like 3 sizes too big. You might notice if you see my videos where if I turn, you can see like about a foot of the coat actually hangs
Your
off.
dad
of
says
me.
it's probably an issue with the browser. That's why it won't.
What?
What?
Whoops, sorry, I forgot I wasn't muted.
Girl.
But yeah, so about a foot of it hangs off of me, and it's intentional so that I look fatter than I actually am.
Ah, I see.
I mean, I don't really need much help because I am kind of fat, but this does definitely help.
Yeah,
So-
but yeah, you're not in the morbidly obese category.
No, I would just be in the obese category. I'm, I have one of those scales that sends the electrical pulse to see what percentage fat you are, and so I'm sitting at like 29% fat, which is not good, but it's definitely not morbidly obese.
Yeah. The thing is, when they get these people say, "Oh, I'm morbidly obese because it's a glandular problem," and they're just sitting there eating every 5 minutes. I actually know a guy. He's morbidly obese, but he goes to the gym. He exercises daily, and he barely loses any weight whatsoever because he actually does have a glandular problem.
Yeah. Well, so both
he came off a motorbike at high speed, so that was the cause of it.
Yeah, both my parents did a 23andMe, and you can it has the like certain genes that you both share in common and stuff like that. And in our family, we all have the excess weight gain gene. So what that really means, it's not like an excuse for being fat, obviously, because anyone can be skinny. You just have to actually work out. But what that does mean is that
well, real quick though, Brian,
So I
does
can look
working
like
out?
my mannequin?
Yes.
Well, no, does working out count as lifting my beer up to my face?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, I mean, it depends. Are you morbidly obese?
Hey,
No,
I'm underweight. That is just as much of a bitch as it is being overweight. I'm pretty sure.
Dodge has a worse medical condition than being morbidly obese.
Oh, well, then yes, that's
Alcoholism?
exercise. Please.
No, worse than that. He's a Dodgers fan.
Oh, man. Well, you got wrecked last night. Oh,
Yep.
Oh,
About the Red
fuck
Sox.
you.
suck it,
Yeah, Red Sox. Yeah.
Damn. I'm going to teabag you.
Oh, I'm not the only one who said that.
Yeah, well,
How
let's
does
just
it
go
feel to
back
be left wanting.
for 2 years in a row. I feel like a fucking teenager on prom night. It's bullshit. Anyway.
Yeah, but you're not going to get it.
Wait, what is that story?
Hold on. So you're bleeding, you're bleeding and crying in the corner?
See, Temma told you they were going to choke, didn't she?
Well, you know what? You women would know all about choking. Anyway.
But
moving
Dodge,
on.
Oh, honey, I don't choke. Ask my husband. I never choke.
I actually don't watch.
No, she doesn't. She gargles.
I don't watch baseball at all. So I just knew who won. Is all. I was just making fun.
Yeah, Dodge. I'm sorry for picking on you, man. If anything good came out of this, at least I'll remember the Dodgers are now a baseball team. So
Well, excuse me while I go hang myself from my porch with an Ethernet cord. I'll be right back.
All right, mate, no
You're gonna
problem.
need a really strong Ethernet cord.
yeah, don't come back with a GoFundMe.
Oh shit!
That's
a hot take.
Why would I follow him? I've got whiskey to drink.
Yeah.
What?
Whiskey. Well,
No, we don't want tea. We don't drink tea. We drink alcohol.
You
And
drink
speaking of
Long Island iced
alcoholism,
teas?
speaking
Hey,
of
you
alcoholism,
cannot-
you're drinking whiskey?
Dodge, you cannot play the Mad Hatter and say you don't like tea.
yeah.
You better like tea with whiskey in it. You fuck.
Well, he's a Dodgers fan, so isn't it the Sad Hatter?
Oh, poor guy.
Oh boy.
You
Oh,
better
poor
hang
boy.
your head in shame.
I just have to ask, what kind of Dodger can't dodge a fucking sock?
That was right in the nuts, dude.
Well, you know what? It's low-hanging fruit, but someone had to pick it.
It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it?
Well, Dodge is in a sad state of affairs
Mm-hmm.
almost every day. Why do you think he drinks so much?
Because he knows us.
I don't know. That'll
Well,
teach him to make his name after a baseball team.
Well, no. I kind of figured all YouTubers are alcoholics, so I just joined the
I'm not
club.
an alcoholic. I just like to drink.
I don't have a drinking
Exactly
problem.
what an alcoholic would say.
I don't have a drinking problem. I drink, I get drunk, I fall down. No problem.
Yeah, I'm with Batman. I mean, really, like, there's no issue here.
Yeah, Dodge, you know my saying. I drink because I work, and I work because I drink.
Prove me
me wrong.
Thomas pointed out Dodge. I think he's secretly an architect, and 3 of his kids are from he got due to marriage because they all have hair of gold like their mother.
Hi, Celia.
Isn't that right, Mike?
Hello.
Well, no, children are almost as evil as women, and that's just the way it is. So
No, they're not
there's
the
this.
worst.
Hey, Dodge, Rebel Mama is gonna come in there and smack you upside the head.
Oh, she knows she's evil.
Said the man who's afraid of her buying a whip.
Nothing wrong with it.
I'm 50-50 on it. Like, little scared, little turned on. I don't know what to think yet.
It's corrupting him bit by bit.
I'm just saying, Mrs. Dodge, if you're listening, when you buy that whip, you better throw in some zip ties. You know?
No, we've already talked about that. It's gonna be rope.
Rope.
Don't use
rope.
rope.
You say?
No.
At least rope won't break. Wait, what are we talking about?
If you're buying a whip, make sure it's a cat of 9 tails.
Zip
That's
ties.
That's what she's looking at. 'Cause that's what she likes. She doesn't like the bull whips.
Yeah, because you can't.
Dodge, run. I'm very fast.
Hey, buddy, do you have a spare room or something, Sith? I might need to go to New Mexico for a while.
No, I'll get beaten for that.
Oh, it'd be like that George Thorogood song. Be like, hey, buddy, I'm outdoors, you know. Can I stay here for a day or two? I don't know.
No, I just
I don't know, man. My wife's kind of acting crazy.
Yeah,
I just
everybody funny, and now you're funny too.
I gotta point this out. When you say you'd get beaten for that, that's just inviting Mrs. Dodge and your female to get their own whips and rope and zip ties.
Oh, good God, that sounds like a nightmare.
It'll be a party.
Yeah, for them.
Check this out. I don't think you're getting out of this tie right here. I'm gonna link it to the group chat here. I don't think you're getting out of that, no matter what you do, unless you're super strong and don't mind cutting your hands off.
Oh, I like.
He's not getting out of it at all.
See, Brian's contributing. I like this.
Yeah.
This is what we call group therapy.
No, what you really need to get for Dodge is a set of manacles and a pulley.
I mean, if we really want to be kinky, have you ever seen those pulleys that they use in the harbors for the cargo ships?
Why don't you guys just have me fucking drawn and quartered already, or tar and feather?
That's what we're trying for.
We wouldn't be able to put you
That'd
on the
be too
rack.
quick.
That's permission, dude. Just giving us.
Oh, that's fucked up. Too many bad ideas towards Rebel Mama.
No, and she's on her computer listening right now too, and she keeps looking at me with this weird grin. I don't know.
She just said sounds like fun.
Yeah, apparently you can have you can have
200 stream. There you go.
you can apparently have electrodes You can apparently have electrodes implanted under the skin that are remote controlled.
Okay, no. She grabs jumper cables and a car battery. I'm running to New Mexico.
Hey, electricity is fun to play with as long as you're safe about it. Because trust me, I play with electricity.
In MADDS, have you ever seen those big rubber bands that they use to wrap shipping containers around, like the crates?
I don't like where you're going with this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, this is starting to sound like the Wile E. Coyote sex dungeon here.
Oh boy!
Just jump in a rubber band and we'll shoot you over.
Good.
Hey, they have multiple purposes. I'm not going to elaborate. I'll let the missus do that.
It's when Dodge wakes up to find electrodes attached to his testicles, and his wife stuck by the switch.
He's never going to sleep again. You realise that?
I hardly sleep as it is, dude. Like, God damn it.
I mean, hey, at least we haven't brought up the idea of, like a staple gun or something.
Yes.
Wait, what are you doing with the staple gun? Never mind. Fuck off.
That's a really good question you want to ask.
Dodge, the staple gun is to use for foreplay before we get out the nail gun.
Oh. This sounds like a very, very, very bad.
Y'all are
crossover
really
with
going to be breaking this poor man. He's going to be terrified of his wife.
Right, Tiger Lily, he's already broken. The Dodgers lost.
That wasn't Tiger Lily, honey. That was Celia.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
You misnamed her.
My mistake. Dodgers' fault.
See, this is what happened. This is what happens when 50 Shades of Grey and Home Alone have a very, very disturbed child.
God damn it, fucker! I was drinking beer. Sounds like I'm
it's a good home improvement.
I just want to say, told you all YouTubers fucking drink. There's Sith getting drunk too, and I just took a drink of beer also because you guys are scary.
Tema in the chat says, I leave for a minute and you guys are talking about nail guns. Y'all are so fucking weird.
I mean, look, we just like to have fun. If you're just going to be a prude about it, come on now.
I don't know. I think we're completely normal and well-adjusted human beings.
Yeah. Yep. I would definitely say that about myself.
Uh-huh.
I would agree.
Says the troll that's a chef.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have super serial videos.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the video where you just prepared some Lucky Charms?
I believe Pat has gone into robot mode.
This
Double arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Don't mention Lucky Charms or you'll wake up having spud.
Or voice.
Or voice.
And he already thinks we're fucking weird. And he thinks all Americans have an alcohol problem.
We're not German.
Most of you are.
Yeah.
Well, we're also Irish too, so I mean, okay, maybe we do.
That's been all the friendly fire in World War II. Then you all were confused.
Well, no, I guess Americans do drink. Don't Americans drink more beer per capita than any other country in the world?
Yeah, but American beer is weaker than any other beer in the world.
Yeah, but we actually call things above 5% malt liquor.
No, hold on before you start, Brian. There's a reason why American beer is weaker than any other beer in the world. It was more for refreshment than it was for alcohol.
Well, yeah, because we didn't want our names to be illegal.
Batman, you are also wrong on that because when it comes to like microbreweries and different beers, we have excellent beer. Budweiser can get fucked. There.
Oh my! You know what? Budweiser can get fucked, but there's a thing. Okay, I saw a commercial during the World Series, which fuck off, Boston, fuck off. But anyway,
hey, Dad,
it was for Budweiser mixed with fucking Jim Beam. That
Yeah.
sounds interesting. I might try that.
That's right, Mad Dodge. You sock it to them.
I'm drinking motherfucking Ice House, all right? Yeah, it's ghetto. But you know what? It's pretty decent beer.
I homebrewed a pumpkin stout.
Ooh.
What is wrong with people and pumpkin? Pumpkin is nasty.
No, Brian, fucking DM me your setup, dude, because I'm looking to set up my own fucking
brewery.
I want to start brewing, yeah. So
watch his videos.
Yeah,
all these people addicted to pumpkins. They're all typical white girls.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, you're brewing pumpkin beer?
Not I didn't turn that one into a video, but I did do apple cider, and I also did one called Purple Drink Alcohol.
Ah.
Yeah.
Purple drink?
Where I turned purple Kool-Aid or grape Kool-Aid, I guess, into actual malt liquor, about 16% alcohol.
Nice. Did it come out good?
It was really good. It was still really sweet though. So I put 10 pounds of sugar in it, right? And the math on that should have been, to get to 10% alcohol, you need 680 grams of sugar per gallon, right?
What was the size of your bottle? Was it a 10 gallon?
5 gallon. Technically, it's a 6. Yeah, technically it's a 6.5, but 5 gallons of liquid goes in there.
Gotcha.
So what I did was I put in 10 pounds of sugar because I still wanted it. I didn't want to have to back sweeten it. I just wanted it to be sweet by the time it finished fermenting, which is totally fine because most of your alcohol is going to top out, or most of your yeast is going to top out at about 16% or so. Even the highest content kind will top out at 20%. So I used a mead yeast on it, and I hit about 16%. And I also added a pound of grape jelly beans, and I added what else was in there? I have the video, so you can go watch that if you want to see the full thing. But there was a couple other things.
No, thanks. I'm good.
Oh yeah, you don't want to watch that video? It's pretty amazing.
I hate pumpkin.
There's no pumpkin in that video.
What the hell?
It's great.
Are you listening?
No, she's not listening.
No.
Somebody said pumpkin, and she went on a fit of rage.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I got done, what I did was I actually put it into a 1 gallon jug and capped it, and added just a dash more sugar, and it carbonated itself. So I had carbonated purple drink.
Nice.
It was pretty good. I still have about a gallon of it. I gave it to my dad for Father's Day, and he never drank it. So,
no, that's awesome. I've always wanted to brew my own beer. It's just.
I tried in the
Are you using glass tanks or are you using metal?
I'm using plastic. I used a plastic wide mouth setup, but I would say I've used glass before, and I've used stainless steel before. By far, stainless steel is my favorite.
I was gonna go glass.
Glass is the most common. It won't add any flavor because it's not porous, so you don't have to worry about having any flavor changes. The only problem with glass is that you need to make sure you get a good quality of carboy, because that's what it's called. Don't get one of the ones with the thin tops. I would really, really recommend that you get something by Big Mouth Bubbler. The glass ones are about $86 or so, but they have a wide mouth so you can clean them out, and they're thick glass.
Yeah, everything has to be fucking sterile in your kitchen too. I have a brewing book. I've read it front to back like 3 or 4 times. I just need to buy my kit.
Do you want? I tried brewing beer once back in the 80s. I made this batch of beer. Give it to my give some to my friend's father, and he never spoke to me ever again.
Weird.
Well, no. Are you at the point where you're making your own recipes yet, or are you still using the recipes in like a brewing book?
No. I make my own recipes. I've always done it that way. I started out brewing on theory, not actually using a recipe book. Because knowing how to cook, you kind of understand how that works. You know, like you need a flavoring hop, you need a bittering hop, you need. You can use 2-row grain or 2-row malt.
I was thinking going with Cascade hops and making a pale ale. But yeah, that's how I was going to go about it for my first brew at least.
You want to know what would be really, really easy as a first brew? Do a single malt, single hop beer where you just use like a basic 2-row malt. And then you also just use a basic, like whatever is the cheaper hop. I think right now Magnum is super cheap, but just get a really cheap hop and just use one hop and make sure it's your bittering hop. And that's it. And just start it out that way. It'll take you 4 days to brew it because there should be a low sugar content. And it'll be, you'll sort of get like a high-end Budweiser. You know what I mean? It's not going to be shitty.
Only 4 days? Wow.
Well, yeah, because you're not really. There's not a lot to it. It's a very basic beer. So, it'll only take you about 4 days, maybe 7 at the max. I would suggest brewing in a 1-gallon carboy so that you, can sort of test your recipes out in that. That way, you're not throwing away 5 gallons and having to spend a ton of money on experimenting. I know I experiment in a 5-gallon, but that's just because I'm, not very economic with food. But it really
sometimes we're kind of dumb when it comes to mixing different foods because we like different foods. And yes, I'm a chef too.
Well, yeah, but that's my channel. Is I sort of, it's happy accidents is basically what I make. But like I said, with the beer, if you just do 1 gallon, all you're gonna need is like a stainless steel soup pot. You pour in 1 gallon of water, bring it to a boil, let it cool down to about 165 degrees or so. And then put in your, you can either do just a basic malt extract. You can do a malt extract with 2-row. You can do just the 2-row. And then you bring it up to 185 for about, I want to say 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the hop. It'll say on the package with your bittering hop. And that's it. It's super simple. If you buy a hydrometer, they're really cheap. It's like $6 for a hydrometer and a beaker. And you find that your sugar is too low, bring the heat back up to 165, add regular white sugar. That's all you need to do.
All right.
And, if you're, like I said, if you're doing about 10% per gallon, you want about 680 grams of sugar. You can use honey. You can use maple syrup if you wanted to. I'm not even kidding. In fact, that's going to be my next video. It's going to be called Breakfast Beer.
This is disgusting.
We are finding out all the things that Shirati does not like.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do breakfast beer, and it's going to have like oatmeal as some of the grain. And it's the sweetener is gonna be 1 gallon of real maple syrup.
Gross.
And then I'm gonna do like probably some corn inside the mash as well, and some kind of hop that I'm gonna find a hop that's got some sort of breakfast food name, and I'll call it breakfast beer.
Oh, dude. Like, seriously, aren't you like at one state over? You need to send me some beer. But no, what do you think about the European style where they actually add scents to their beer and shit? Like, I was reading about that in my brewing book. It's weird.
Yeah.
You actually add what to it?
scent.
You add things that are aromatic.
Lavender, like lavender and shit.
Yeah,
it's
That
fucking
sounds
weird.
French. That sounds distinctly French. Let's face it, the French are crap at making beer.
Well, like your Christmas style beers will usually have mulling spice in them. You know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of breweries over here that do that too.
Mhm.
Just gotta look for them.
I used mulling spice in my video about making apple cider. So the kind of apple cider I made was like a spicier, refreshing apple cider versus the really sugary, crappy stuff you buy at the store.
I love cinnamon.
Yeah, last night I had a eggnog, the good eggnog with rum and fucking eggnog. That was delicious.
Nice.
You throw nutmeg on that shit. It's fucking delicious.
Well, no, and I actually, just because we're talking about beer, I looked over here. I'm drinking. I know, it's crap. Steel Reserve. It's 8.1%.
Oh!
All right. But extra malted barley and select hops for extra gravity. What do they mean by extra gravity? I don't understand that part.
That means extra fall on your face. Steel Reserve.
Extra gravity. Yeah, you'll see the Earth sooner.
Yeah, it means if you drink too much, you'll crush yourself.
You'll shrink.
But no, Dodge. Obviously, like I said, I'm drinking fucking Ice House, so no judgment.
It also means you can tell a really strong beer when even light can't escape from it.
And I'm not drinking yet. Why?
Actually,
I don't know.
I thought you had
Dodge, to answer your question. Dodge, to answer your question,
shit.
I think Brian will be able to correct me if I'm wrong here. When they say gravity, what they mean is how dense the mash is when they're actually brewing it, which is why you end up with what's essentially malt liquor as opposed to a beer, because it's a really thick mash.
Well, and here's the thing: in America, we don't really define too much between a beer and a malt liquor, other than most malt liquors won't have 2 hops, and they'll usually be higher alcohol content, made with cheaper ingredients, like adding a ton of white sugar, right? But the thing is that you can actually get really high-end beers that have a 12% alcohol content, but they use more what is that called? Malt. They can either use rice malt or grain malt, and that is sugar as well. That's basically just sugar. It has a more warm flavor, but it's still the same thing. And you can make very high-end beers using high-quality ingredients that have high alcohol content, and they're considered a beer, not a malt liquor.
Yeah, but the gravity thing is the amount of the type of ingredients you put in. So,
isn't that the basic concept behind a barley wine?
Yes, it is.
No.
Yeah. And the gravity that's measured by the hydrometer, specifically for people brewing, it's measuring mostly just the sugars. But if you're using high fructose corn syrup as a sugar, it's going to be off just a tad bit because it's not really meant for that. Just like if you're using maple syrup as a sugar, it's probably going to be off just slightly.
High fructose corn syrup is cancer. Fuck that shit.
It is, but here's the funny thing. High fructose corn syrup, when fermented, is actually not bad for you because it's not high fructose corn syrup anymore.
Okay. Brian, that kind of makes sense. Just like soy. Like soy sauce. Good soy sauce loses the estrogen when they actually cook it. Right?
Yeah.
Well, soy is used in the Far East, how it is in the West, because how it's prepared, it gets rid of all the estrogen.
Well, real quick, I'm reading the chat. Aunt Jack says, I'm lazy. I'll stick to making rice liquor. I'm not a sake fan. I never liked it.
Really? Sake is delicious.
Yeah, I'd rather have whiskey or vodka or something like that.
If you're going to go with sake, you need unfiltered.
Yeah, that's true. Vodka turns me into a piece of shit. I don't like vodka.
Apparently, from what I've seen in the chat there, William Stenchep is finally out of the closet.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. He was telling me the other night how he likes to suck balls, but he's never done it before. He just fantasizes about it. So he's got two.
Who's fantasizing about?
William Stenchover. He's got 2 boiled eggs that he practices on.
Ah.
I always suspected it.
That doesn't surprise me with William. Not at all.
Oh shit, Aunt Jack really fucking doesn't like Japan. I don't drink that Jap swill. Oh damn. Okay.
It doesn't mean he doesn't like Japan. It just means he doesn't like that Jap swill.
Sharati, what are you doing? Stop beating up your computer.
I'm not. I'm never on my computer. I'm on my husband's computer or I'm on my phone. Now shut up and be a good little bitch.
Hey, fuck you. You know I love you, but
wait, you don't even have your own computer?
Oh, I have my own computer. I'm just never on it.
Her husband doesn't allow her to have anything other than the stove and the fridge.
I got
you.
Oh, Dodge.
You don't know what you're talking about.
My husband allows me to do a lot because I'm a good little girl.
God damn it. I'm leaving that alone. I'm leaving that shit alone. Let's go back to alcohol.
Be careful, dog. If you keep making fun of her, she might start making a joke about someone with socks of a particular color.
Oh, you mean the red ones?
Oh, you go fuck yourselves. No, I'm not gonna live this shit down for a whole year. You guys are gonna fuck with me in Discord like every day. I already know. Fuck off.
Of course we are.
Pretty rainbows in the chat.
Yeah, for William. Mad, why is your Discord icon changed to the Boston Red Sox now?
He's gonna start stabbing us.
Oh, if only he could reach me.
Well, I don't have to do anything to you. You're what, in Michigan? Like, just go to Detroit for a day. They'll handle it.
Sugar, you realize this is an open carry state. And any muzzy that comes near me and tries to hurt me in any way, shape, or form will be shot.
G-Unit?
I think we should do a
Actually,
GoFundMe.
I don't knit, but I do crochet.
I think we should. I think we should get a GoFundMe going and get a pair of these for Dodge.
Maybe.
Oh my god!
I hate you.
Yep. It's in the mail. 10 pair of them.
Yeah.
Glad you're thinking about me though. Glad I have rental space in your head. But no, fuck off. But no, when it came to the whole brewing beer thing, just to finish that up, I was gonna use a recipe I found for a pale ale first, just to try it, and then I was gonna move on and start experimenting myself.
So what do you think of my new mannequin there, Doku?
Oh wait, what'd you say about mannequins?
Oh, new one.
I said, what do you think of my new mannequin, Doku?
It's the same one.
No, it's not.
A little early.
You mean the
It's
one?
got a different face, dumbass.
Yeah, I'm more focused on the hair.
Yeah, the pigtails.
It's still got pigtails. It's just curly hair.
It looks exactly the same.
It does.
It really doesn't.
It looks a little bit bratty. I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm a little bit bratty, dumbass.
A little bit?
So that mannequin's supposed to be you?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I think we're taking personification a little bit too far here.
All right. This is the OG mannequin with the curly hair in general Discord. This is...
Hell, Beavs just came in here and farted everywhere.
Oh, too bad.
She's still farting.
It could be worse.
And that's the new mannequin.
Oh, okay. What?
Yeah, I don't know. The first one looks like it wanted it, and the second one looks like it regrets its decision.
So it just took the shame walk home after Halloween.
Yeah, this is at the end of the night compared to waking up the next morning.
The one in general chat kind of looks annoyed.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't like it.
The way it's got its hands, it looks like one of those a character from one of those films, where a guy wakes up in the woman's body.
And is that the butt in the front?
No.
See, it's not just me, damn it.
Yeah, that's a front butt.
No, it's really not. The ass is a hell of a lot bigger.
A front butt. Really?
Okay. Well, then
front butt mannequin front butt.
Yeah, no. Turn the mannequin around and take a new picture. Then we have to see this mannequin.
Why do you have to see the mannequin's ass?
Because science. For science, that's why.
And don't make us start talking about fleshlights again.
God, I'm never gonna go into Walmart the same next time I see a mannequin. I'm just gonna laugh.
Hey, I got a fun joke. What's the definition of a diaphragm, Sharadi?
I don't think
I'm busy, too busy to deal with you and diaphragms.
This is trampoline for dickheads.
Nice.
that is pretty good. But no, she's busy taking a picture of the mannequin's ass. Like, this needs to happen.
William Stenchever is saying that Brian's house is on fire and he should save the bagels.
Oh, no, it's not on fire. She's trying to gas me, and she knows I'm Jewish.
Brian, look.
Is she saying Zeke Hal? She does it.
Oh my God, Sharadi's putting butt pics in the
right
now.
Whoa, what? Where am I?
Oh, that's not even the mannequin. That's her. God damn it, Sharadi. Get that out of here.
No. Where is it? I need to see this.
It's in general chat.
In the general chat.
Yeah, in my Discord, Brian.
I even pulled down the panties that I put on her.
She pulled out her panties. Fucking shit. I'm done.
Yeah, word of advice, never go out with a girl who's got made in Japan stamped on her ass.
To this day, I'm still going to ask the question, why on earth are you putting panties on a mannequin?
Because I tell my daughters they need to wear clothes. Well, specifically my 6-year-old. So I put panties on a mannequin.
Brian ain't suggesting you light a candle. I'm suggesting you don't your house.
No, this place will blow up.
Wait, so you're teaching your children using a mannequin. There's a South Park joke here that was made several years ago. I'm not going to go into it.
Come on, man. It was kind of funny. Come on. Do it.
Come on. You started. You might as well.
No. We already jumped down the fucking fleshlight bum stock rabbit hole. I'm not opening Pandora's box for a second time.
William in the chat is going CPS. God damn it.
No, William. No CPS. No. Everybody here is decent people.
Even if we do abuse mannequins once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, you abuse mannequins frequently.
That's not something you should admit on the internet. Just saying.
No, they do, not me.
Wait a minute.
I dress them.
How come I can't see it?
I will remind you
There's
once
another
again,
joke to make there that I'm not going to.
the thoughts and comments from the Redeye panel do not equate to the Redeye stream.
That's right. Mad Dodge Productions disavows all these degenerates and their whips and their fucking mannequins. It's ridiculous.
When he mutes himself, he laughs his ass off hysterically and almost falls out of his chair, which is why you don't hear anything.
Fair enough. And what's up, Unholy Mole in the chat? We're talking about violating mannequins. It's a weird stream tonight.
We're also talking
Earlier
about
today we were talking about violating watermelons and pumpkins.
Oh yeah, don't forget the butternut squash. We have the rope. We have the zip ties. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
Oh, and guns with the flashlights.
Oh yes, the bum stock fleshlight. You can't forget that.
Once again, though, does 34 count as a midlife crisis?
No, you were already told this.
Yes.
No, God.
You know the worst way you could abuse a mannequin.
I can throw it away because my husband wants to put Alexa and speakers into it.
Oh no!
Of course he does.
Oh, hey.
Shut up, Brian.
Do you know what the worst way to violate a mannequin is?
Burn it, set it on fire.
Take it to a Dodgers game.
Damn it. Damn it.
But no. I think the whole creating the mannequin into a sex bot thing is a great idea. I fully support your husband in this endeavor.
He's not turning it into a sex bot, you crazy lunatic.
You can send her the pictures of the fleshlights we found.
Oh my God.
Also,
you're all fucked in the head.
You get him the Predator.
No,
one.
we're just very creative and ingenuitive.
Yeah. Creative is one word for it.
We're sticking with creative and ingenuitive.
Yep.
Uh-huh. And I'm going with insane and crazy and
Alexa, turn on fucking sex bot mode. And then bam. Right?
Alexa, do you know HAL 9000?
We don't really talk after what happened.
Did you sexually assault fucking Alexa?
No, HAL 9000 closed the pod bay doors on her.
Alexa, turn on slow jazz.
No.
Alexa,
I have a headphone on.
Ask Alexa if she can open the pod bay doors.
Well, no. Alexa, show us on the doll
Alexa,
where you were touched.
Red alert.
Alexa, who is your daddy?
Oh my God! It has the Star Trek.
You guys can't control it.
No.
Mine to control.
I don't really.
In your eyeballs.
No, real quick. I never.
Nope.
No. Wait a minute. God damn it, woman.
I can get louder. Ask my husband. I've been a hell of a lot louder.
We'll talk about that later. But no.
I'm sure we will. We are not talking about my Echo Dot.
Oh.
This crazy woman weird.
No, I never wanted Alexa before, but now I want to feel like I'm on the Enterprise. Like, now I'm going to buy Alexa. Like, you sold me with the red alert.
I thought you were a libertarian.
Fire phasers.
Don't get an Alexa.
Firing phasers. Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Oh,
Get Alexa just
Goodness.
Alexa is amazing. I'm now on board. That's all it took. I'm on board now. I'm buying
ask
one.
Alexa. Hey, Shirati.
No.
Ask Alexa.
No.
I think you should.
Hello, how are you, sugar?
Hey, it's a money. I want to take it and chop it into guacamole.
Hey, Mo.
Okay, Sith, you are insane.
Yes, I am.
Yes, because he's really gay Jedi female.
Fuck you, Batman.
Which is why he has a second account named Lady Sith.
That is my wife. You heard her earlier.
That's
Shut up,
your
woman.
real account.
Did I? Or was that just you changing your voice, Sugar?
He's got a voice changer.
Alright, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be back.
No. Trying to open my fucking bedroom door.
Aww.
Hold on, Sharati.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's busy uploading. He's activating the voice changer.
Sweetheart, will you come here for a second and prove that you're a real person?
Uh-oh.
Aw,
You're going to turn her into internet people now.
Hold on,
This is
hold
how it
on.
starts.
He's coming. What? Here, tell all these people that you're real.
I'm an actual human being. Roll me a cigarette.
Bitch, do me something.
Exactly.
Tit for tat. Tit for tat. Roll me a cigarette.
Anyways.
Yeah, I had to step away because the kids are fighting over.
Actually, sure, it's clear here that Sith has actually got a recording of himself when he's using the voice changer, which he just played then.
It's more like he's a slave.
That too.
And William in the chat, I can see how many people are watching. It's on the lower right-hand side of my screen here in the Hangout. Thank you very much for keeping me up to date. I appreciate it.
Aww. William, are you being a prick? Like always.
Of course he is. He's being a prick because he hasn't got one. Wait, did I say that one?
Yep. Everybody heard it. It's recorded.
William, do you want to come and play with me too?
Uh-oh.
Wait, that came out wrong.
Yep.
No, it didn't.
At least it didn't come in wrong.
William.
All right, so moving on.
To what? What are we going to talk about now? What are we going to talk about now, man?
You know what? Nothing. Fuck you, woman.
Yeah, and people wonder why you have a fucking mannequin.
Brian, did you get a chance to get that stuff I was talking about earlier?
No, the dealer never showed up.
No, the crazy tweets.
The crazy tweets. I don't remember what you were talking about.
God damn it.
Is that code for fucking cocaine or something? What the hell is going on right now?
Oh, you were talking about the I'll just say it. I mean, I think they'll be fine with talking.
Yeah, we're about to start your next topic for you.
Yeah. The Blexit thing.
Oh yeah, I put that in the Redeye stream earlier today too.
By
Blexit.
Yes, the Black Americans leaving the Democratic Party.
Oh, right.
How do you feel about that?
I really don't give a flying fuck. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
How do you feel about the right embracing identity politics?
Again, I don't really give a fuck. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Well, no, I'm not a fan of identity politics. I believe we're all individuals, and it all should focus down to the individual trees, not the forest, which is the difference between identity politics and individualism. And I think once you go down the slippery slope of arguing identity politics and putting yourself into a class of people, then you have an outside the class of people, and you fucking point at them and call them evil, and you end up with the fucking Nazis. I mean,
well, or black separatists. You end up you end up with both.
Considering the extreme views of a certain political African American political movement, would it be fair to call them blacksies?
Yeah, but they started this because of Al Sharpton.
Yeah, but
Al Sharpton can suck my fucking rebel cock.
You're not a rebel.
You're a Yankee.
Fuck you too, you Michigan bitch.
I am a Michigan bitch, which means I'm right next to fucking Canada, which means I can stand colder winters than you cunt.
Go to fucking Canada already. Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, okay, you don't start a movement that is based in identity politics after screeching about how identity politics is bad for the last 5 years. You don't do that. That
Very
is
true, but that's what they based it off of.
no.
Exactly.
No.
Out Sharpton.
No. You do not play the same game that your opponent plays. Otherwise, you are no better than your opponent.
Very true.
I 100% agree with you,
they were
Brian.
basing it off of.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying is that's what they said they were basing it off of, was Al Sharpton and Don Lemon.
Well, at the same time, I will stand on the Kanye is crazy always, forever. I will not forget that, no matter his political stance. He is a crazy man.
Here comes MC. I'm right on cue.
Welcome back, Rick.
No,
we real quick.
The
We bring
motherfucker
up,
said he was a genius and Jesus. I'm sorry, Mad Dodge. Let me finish real quick. The motherfucker said he's a genius.
Dragon power.
I hate his music.
I feel like Superman wearing this hat.
well, no, I just want to point out though, we start talking about Al Sharpton and identity politics, and MC rejoins us.
Which is why I said right on cue.
Yep.
Yeah, don't y'all blasphemy, Jesus.
Jesus.
You mean Jesus?
No, I can't even fucking say it right. Kanye,
I don't know.
Jesus.
It's Jesus.
No,
Jesus.
Kanye.
The thing that irritates me the most about this is I never liked Kanye West's music. I never really liked him, but now I fucking like him.
Yeah, exactly. That's retarded. All the time.
I want to hear MC sing his greatest hit. Can't touch this.
that would be the best stream ever. You're getting ready to listen to a fucking MC rant, and he starts singing Kanye West music.
Well, actually, I have a question for MC. How do you feel about Candace Owens?
That's a hard one. You know what?
MC's supposed to answer, not you, Sith. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Go ahead.
God damn it.
How do I feel about Candace Owens?
Yes.
Yep.
I can take her or leave her. Why?
I mean, you can take her or leave her. She is literally the epitome of what is wrong with any sort of activist ever. She's literally only there for the money. She will turn on you in a second if the tides turn, and she will only go with what is populous at the time.
Okay. I will
I get to finish this. I get to finish this. If you had no opinion on her, I get to finish.
No.
No.
Girls, you're both pretty.
Because like Hillary Clinton.
Because she literally had a doxing website. She literally had an anti-Trump blog, and now she is pro-Trump and pro everything that is good on our side. It's ludicrous that anyone even thinks she's a genuine person. And now she comes out with a identity politics movement called Blexit. Come the fuck on.
My thoughts exactly,
okay, you
Brian.
ready for my commentary?
She's even stolen Brexit for crying out loud.
Go ahead, MC.
I see people like her, and I go back to something that I was told a long time ago, which is young people tend to be liberal and they tend to grow out of it. And so I'm willing to say, okay, let's see what happens with her. I don't like the fact that she was part of a doxing website. I'm very leery of her actual conversion. All right. But at the same time, I'm willing to say, okay, we'll see where this goes. Right? When it comes to young people, and it comes to what young people are saying overall, I tend to give it a lot more leeway. When you start getting into middle age, however, and you haven't changed because you're still a diehard freaking communist, in my opinion, I pretty much give up all hope on you.
You think she changed?
No. Let me put it this way. To be honest, I think it's suspicious. Okay. It's possible that she decided to wake up a little bit and say, wait a minute here. It's also possible that she's nothing more than a gold digging, two-fisted freaking person who's doing it strictly for what's best for her, and she's looking out strictly for herself and will stab anybody in the back. That's always a possibility. All right. Especially when you're dealing with people that are young.
Now, at the same time, this movement is also dumb as shit. So,
well,
is
the movement to walk away from saying we're going to sit up there and just be a monolithic group that's tied strictly to the Democrats, or is the movement, okay, you're not a Democrat anymore, you're a Republican? I don't think that the movement is necessarily a movement that says, okay, now we're Republicans. I think it's a movement to say, look, you've got to start looking at what the Democrat plantation has done, what their policies have actually done for the community. Now, I can't speak for them. I'm not one of them, so I'm willing to say, okay, we'll see where it goes. It isn't me. I'm not a part of it. I'm not going to be a part of it. If they have learned to say, wait a minute here, I've got to wake up to what politics is actually like and what works and what doesn't work, great. If it's just because, well, I want to be hip and cool and look at me and I want to be edgy, well, I've never really been a part of that crowd, to be honest.
Do you condone Wexit then?
What's Wexit?
White people leaving
the Republicans.
It's the same thing.
I'll support that shit if they join the Libertarian Party.
Libertarian Party is a worthless party.
No.
The freaking Republicans
I thought until it was explained, I thought Brexit was what Chinese people called the British leaving the EU.
That's good. No. What I'm saying is that it's wrong either way. It's not a good idea to do this based off the fact, like calling it Brexit is saying, hey, you're black.
Hold on a second.
You're now a black Republican. You're not
Hold on. Just a second. Dodge. You have Batman you just have Batman on the screen. Nobody else is showing up.
Okay, I'll try to fix that.
Yes, this is strange.
And that's not a good idea.
I am the only person on the stream. Worship me.
But that's not a good idea. You shouldn't be treating people as though the only thing that's important about them is that there is their race. That's not okay.
Well, of course not. But that's not. But when you take a look at it, what has you got to take a look at how the mainstream media has portrayed things. That's one of the comments that I was making yesterday about the British. All right. Mm-hmm. The idea is, for example, one of the things that's very true, and I can back this up, is if you take a look at the Nazi movement, the Nazis have one thing in common with quote unquote conservatives, and that is nationalism. Nothing else. All right. Their policies and everything else are all on the far left when it really comes
they're socialists.
Okay, but the media has portrayed Nazis as the right wing, and they've done it successfully because they want to tar and feather, all right, conservatives and conservative philosophy. All right?
As far as I know, nationalism only means that you like your country and you like your country.
I understand what nationalism actually means, but you got to take a look at what the press back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s have all created. The fact is that if you say Nazism, whether it's a right-wing or a left-wing movement, people in the United States overall, in a vast majority, will assume that it's a right-wing movement. And why did I bring that up in this conversation? The reason I brought it up in this conversation is because when it comes to the identity politics that were played on African Americans, that same policy was in place. So when they come back and say, well, we're going to walk away from the Democrat plantation, I look at it more along the lines of them saying, okay, I'm not going to be holding to the dogma, just like I'm not going to be holding to the dogma of Nazism.
She announced at a Trump party.
MC, I got a question for you. Whether I personally don't give a flying fuck about Candace Owens one way or the other, but I do have one question for you. Do you think she's doing anything beneficial or not?
No, she's fucking not. If you think Kiwi Farms was anything fucking good, a doxing fucking website to out people for their political beliefs and tear them down,
whether or not she's doing anything,
that's not fucking okay.
whether or not she did anything good in the past with the doxing website, that was obviously a negative. Is she doing something good now? I don't know. I honestly
I think she's doing a lot of good things.
No. Really on Kiwi Farms. I want to know.
No, she's polarizing your community. Instead of being united.
Hey, Brian, what did I just say? I think she's doing a very good thing for Candy Zones.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear the end of that. My bad. Yeah. What she's doing is actually very bad because it's polarizing what is the right wing. You are splitting via race at this point, and that's going to be really, really bad in the future.
I don't think so, and the reason is because the
really?
conservative movement has never been as monolithic, all right, as people think it is. It's always been you end up with like the libertarian wing or the minarchist wing. You end up with the social conservatives.
Exactly
you don't think so because of the past.
What exactly is wrong with my fucking club, buddy? What exactly is wrong with us?
Well, first of all,
his argument's invalid already. He said,
wait. Before we get on to the libertarian crazy shit, well, I'm looking at a crowd full of black people wearing.
Wait a minute. Did you just say libertarian crazy shit?
Let me give you an example of something we're talking about, Brian. Okay. There's always been the quote unquote the conservative wing that's very religious, right? Where they were in many ways a single voter, right? Or single voter. And that is on the abortion issue when you talk about the religious conservatives. Okay? And they have shown repeatedly, all right, through election after election over these decades, that if they don't like a candidate and they feel that a candidate is weak on abortion, they will not come out to vote for him. It's one of the reasons why you saw them not come out for Mitt Romney, because Mitt Romney was perceived as weak on abortion, and the evangelical quote unquote wing of the party didn't come out to vote for him.
You don't need to be evangelical to fucking believe abortion is murder.
I'm not saying that has nothing to do with the conversation, Mad Dodge.
Well, yeah, but also what you're saying has nothing to do with the conversation.
No, it does, because
you are not realizing what I am talking about. For a specific group of people, specifically people from the left that move to the right, their race is a religion.
That is a concern. I agree with you that is a concern, right? But it's one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see how it actually, falls out, rather than try to predict. Okay,
it's already fallen out. I'm looking at a crowd full of people wearing Kanye shirts, and there's one white person in this entire crowd.
Okay.
So instead of the walk away movement, now it's a wait and see movement.
No, a walk away movement is different than the quote unquote Blexic movement as it was being described. All right, I'm not saying that.
Well, I'm trying to follow both of you at the same time.
Not that it's being described. That is what it's coined. That is what she named it. This is her
called. Well, I know what she coined it as, and I know that Kanye designed the damn thing. In just a second, both of you, like I said, girls, you're both pretty. Shut the fuck up for a second. You can both talk and get back to your point. Shut up, Brian. I'm drinking. I'm not going to let you talk, so shut up. Anyways.
I thought you weren't drinking, lady.
I said I'm not a drunk.
We drove her to drink. High
five. Anyways.
We didn't. She walked to us.
20 minutes later, Sharadi's going to share her point.
Sharadi, continue, hun.
Don't call me hun. Atema is the hun, not me.
Okay, sweetie.
You both know, all of you know that I'm not.
Come on, honey.
Yes, you are. You're a cute guy.
How you doing, darling?
Yeah, you just go on ahead and make your point, Sugar Plum.
Oh boy.
I can hear her fuming.
Yep. Any day, darling.
A darling I've been called numerous times. I don't mind that.
I was actually going to be polite and call you mom.
Oh, fuck you, Batman. Fuck you hard in the eye socket.
Okay, but I think you've successfully derailed any conversation or any thought process that you may have had, you?
Gesture to us, mannequin.
Oh my god! Oh fucking hell! I just kicked my door in sandals.
I'll leave the door open.
Ow!
I'm sure a drink will help.
Oh.
Anyway, Brian, yeah, I see your point, and I don't disagree that it's a danger, all right? But then again, there's been rhinos in the Republican Party for a long time as well. So if you look at it from that standpoint, is it going to affect the Republicans? It could, all right? But at this point in time, the way politics are in the country at this point, to be honest, there's a lot that's up in the air, right? And there's so many balls flying around and so much fur that's flying around that it's going to take time before it all settles down.
You're absolutely right. There's so much fur flying around that we have to lower standards and become exactly like the other side.
I don't think it's not necessarily lowering the standards in every case. It's also the field that you're playing on is going to be determined by what your opponents are going to do.
You can't beat your opponents at their own game when they keep changing the rules.
Exactly. And if you change your rules to match theirs and then they change their rule again, who wins?
You can't just seed the field though either, Brian.
I'm not saying you can seed the field. I'm saying that in the end, because
children go to bed.
No.
I don't wanna.
I don't give a flying fuck. I was talking to my children, not you children.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Sharati, real quick.
No, I'm not going to mute myself to yell at my kids, so shut up.
Can I call you Cougar on the Loose?
No.
Well,
I was requested to do so.
Yeah.
By who?
Cougar in a cage.
Sir Blumpkin.
I don't know who you're talking about. All I know is I want that mannequin.
Yeah, and Sharati.
You always want the mannequin. Since you were drunk the other day, you're not getting my mannequin, especially because it has 2 heads and it was very expensive. That's the end of the subject. No more talking about my mannequin.
That's the selling point.
Do you know who else has 2 heads?
Every man on the planet, just about, except for the transgendered ones. What do you want, Batman?
Sir Blumpkin wants us to call you. I've lost it now.
Perky nipples.
Scroll up.
Perky nipples.
Not perky nipples. I had it a minute ago.
Fluffy nipples?
It's further up in the chat. Baby boo.
I'm sorry.
He wants us to call you Baby Boo, but I'm refusing to.
Oh,
okay, whatever.
How about Twisty Flicks?
How about fuck off, Sir Blumpkin?
I might if you give me that mannequin.
Tidy Lily wants us to call you Sex Kitten.
It wouldn't be the first time I've actually heard that from somebody. Actually, I'm pretty sure my husband called me that.
Well, now it's getting kinky.
I would bite Tiger Lily on the ass, grow lockjaw, and let her drag me across the yard.
Good to know.
Tiger Lily has a beautiful, sexy voice.
Yes, she does.
I wish she would be on here and talk more often, but apparently she can't hang with the big boys. Or big girls in some cases.
You mean the mannequin?
Sharati.
No, Sir Blumpkin, I will not call Sharati pink grapefruit.
Whatever.
You know, I love being a chew toy. Freaking dog.
Wow. That went,
Yeah, it did.
Interesting.
Remember, all it takes is one whip, a rubber band, and a few zip ties.
Oh.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about what was actually happening to me.
I was talking about a fun time.
Our older dog had died a few months ago, so they got a new dog, and this dog is a lot more. Well, first of all, it's young now, and it's a lot more rambunctious and loves to chew on everything.
MC, I didn't know you were like that. Jeez.
You know, it's a pity we can't do this, but while it's not as it would be great if we could all change our avatars to Red Sox avatars.
Actually, that's a great idea. This makes me wonder. Hey, Sharati, can you do me a favor? Find some like very opaque red thigh highs and throw them on that mannequin real quick.
No.
do it for Mad Dodge.
No.
No, we like Dodger Blue around here. God damn it.
How about
I don't
no?
know. I've been hearing about this red tsunami that's coming.
I really think that people who are talking about a red tsunami any more than the people are talking about a blue tsunami. I don't think there's going to be any tsunami. It's just going to be politics as normal.
No, I don't think it's going to change at all. It's the best case scenario. The blue might take the House, but they'll only take it by a seat or two. The Republicans might take a seat or two in the Senate. If they're really lucky, they'll take 3 or 4.
Real quick. Real quick, guys. I'm reading the chat. Aunt Jack says, on the next stream, I expect everyone to finish 200 shots of whiskey to celebrate by the end of the stream. Funny you say that.
Quinn, fuck you.
I don't know about 200 shots of whiskey, but I do plan on a 200th episode celebration tomorrow. And then on Friday, it's November 2nd, which is my birthday. I turned 34, and I get my my midlife crisis early. So
holy shit, you're only 34?
I'm 33 right now, Dick. Don't age me up yet.
Dodge, you liar.
Dude, I was saying I was 32 before I was saying that I was, or before I was finishing off my 31st year.
Fuck it, I'm 25.
We all know your birthday is April 1st.
You're only 25? Huh?
Yep, fuck it, I'm only 25.
Are you saying my fucking birthday was April Fool's? Fuck you, Batman.
Well, it had to be. You're a Dodgers fan.
That's kind of fucked up. My birthday is April 4th, which sounds like Fool's.
You are
you're April 4th, right? Because you're a Sith, you know the Force. Anyway, moving on.
Fuck you. You know what? Your jokes fall flat every time, Dodge.
I know. It was literally fucking pavement and the fucking glass.
Brian, give him a break. Good grief.
Why would I ever give him a break? Ever.
My jokes don't fall flat all the time.
You gotta have some sympathy for a Dodgers fan.
No,
I really don't.
No, we don't.
Have you never heard the saying, never give a sucker an even break?
Fuck off and die. Anyway.
Eventually. But not today, sugar.
My jokes.
When my husband comes home, I'm gonna get laid.
My jokes kind of fall flat like the how did your pumpkin. But, you know, I mean, whatever.
You mean...
I think... Dodge, your jokes are flatter than Keira Knightley's chest.
Yeah, well...
Your jokes are flatter than the Dodgers and your little baseball game.
Hey, Batman, you couldn't even dick down Poison Ivy. Really? That slut? Come on now, Batman.
Yeah, would you? I mean, yeah, all that itching and scratching. Oh, wait, that's Catwoman.
I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go buy some beer and some cigarettes before Exiled Opinions. Lily, you better fucking join us. Mad Dodge, I hope to see you there.
All right, bye, Toku.
I think Lily has to work.
Everybody else, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Big Fat Brian. Glad to hear you sharing your wonderful fucking ways to get us fucking drunk and potentially kill ourselves through alcohol poisoning.
Yeah. It's good to talk to you too, Doku. I love hanging out with you, man.
Oh, dude, it's always good. You got to pop in sometime. Come check out Exiled Opinions. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
Nah. Never.
Hey, Doku, do you have a wrench, dude? Throw the link out because I do plan on joining you guys. I gotta write my list real quick, but it'll be
Doku
easy.
doesn't need a fucking wrench.
I don't have a wrench, and I definitely need a wrench because if I don't have a wrench, then that means Sharati's not going to send me that mannequin that she promised me.
I'm not gonna send you the fucking mannequin, you spoiled
promised me the
rotten piece
mannequin?
of shit.
Yeah, I heard
me the mannequin. See, Batman, Brian, MC, Jensen, Cis Straight Male, Cynic, Mad Dodge, they're all my witnesses here. Sharati promised me a mannequin with a bump stock fleshlight.
Yeah,
that's right.
I heard it myself. I heard it with my own ears.
That's right. And we're gonna hold you to it, Sharati. He gets his mannequin.
He promised me.
I'll send him a fucking voodoo doll stabbed with lots and lots of needles.
You know what? Now you're just making it more and more kinky.
I don't think that's how it works anyway. You're not supposed to send him his own doll.
See, you know what? Brian's going to send me some beer. Sharati's going to send me a really kinky sex doll. It's going to be fucking a wonderful time. I look forward to 2019.
Yeah, that sounds like a Saturday night for you, right?
Nick, yes, you do send somebody their own mannequin doll, especially if they're a masochist.
Oh my god!
All right. In that case, yes, it would be very handy.
Oh, see, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be. I'll take fucking pictures. I'll send them directly to Sharati.
Oh, you're so strange.
Oh, Sharati, you better be sharing those pictures on Discord. We got to see this shit.
I send them all over Twitter and Reddit and Mix and Tumblr and
CNN.
God, everywhere. Yeah, why not?
If you don't share it on Pornhub, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Really, Sharati, you're going to call people strange?
Yeah. Of course I
The
am.
man has a point.
Strange lady, but we love you.
I'm the normal one here. I'm the one that doesn't have a fucking mannequin that they dress with panties and shit.
Sith, Sharati is not strange. She's weird. There's a difference.
Oh, honey, I have gone way.
Gone away.
Yep, gone away.
Damn.
You booted him. You monster.
No, I don't boot anybody. That was her internet dropping, but that was great timing.
It was
I
great
will
timing.
say that.
No, Sharati, she probably disconnected herself.
Wow.
Oh, bloody hell.
I didn't do it. Don't y'all blame me.
And here she is back.
Okay, so
Wow, you guys were awful quiet.
we were waiting.
You live in fear.
Yeah, we were waiting in anticipation for your voice. We just wanted to hear you talk about this mannequin some more.
We were taking bets on who was going to do the eulogy.
Yeah, I was expecting to hear my door open because I've left it unlocked for you.
Uh-huh. Of course you would, Batman.
Well, of course I would. You promised to come over here and show me a good time.
I'm drinking right now, Sugar. You can't be saying shit that's so funny.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hi.
Just she'll spit it out.
God damn, do I have to re-download my Alex Jones fucking soundboard to fucking fight with Batman here?
Yeah, it's just an Alex Jones one, is it?
Wait till he plays the greatest hits. Over the wall! Red Sox win!
I've got the perfect soundboard for Sharati.
All right.
I have the perfect soundboard for Sharati.
No, the next Dodger
I'm taking
joke.
off my headphones now.
A nightmare
to others! Oh, don't tease us now. Come on.
She's taking off the headphones. That means we can yell at Alexa.
The next Dodgers joke, what? Gets banned? Come on, say it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass, dude. Fuck you. No.
Well, that's something else.
Red Sox.
I'm
Red Sox. Red Sox.
Red Sox win.
How big of a lead did they have?
Average? What's his ERA in the World Series? 12, 13, 20.
How many times have the Dodgers won the World Series?
Who was that guy that was just on the press conference that was like, "Oh, I gotta quit the Dodgers now. Whoa, whoa, they lost. Oh, I gotta quit."
Why do I torture myself?
Because you love us. Ooh, that's hot.
You could let things slide. You could ignore it.
Wasn't it like their best pitcher or something?
That was the best pitching staff in all of baseball. Just ask Mad Dodge.
It is. Fuck off.
Doesn't the Dodgers' best pitcher also double as the mascot?
For the other team, yeah.
I'm the water boy.
See, I thought he also doubled it as a bottom.
Let's see. On the best pitcher of baseball, let's bring the gas can out to the pitcher's mound today. Let's see what we can fire on up today.
And at least they dodged that
Are
win.
they called the Dodgers because they always dodge a win?
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Same place. Dodge that win perfectly.
Dude, every one of you? Like, Jetson, come on. Dude.
Are you sure they're called the Dodgers and not the Dodgies?
Oh
boy.
Even the Brits are taking shots.
I've been taking shots all week.
I didn't know this was the roast of Mad Dodge.
Honey, it is the worst of Mad Dodge.
It always is.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You know the sad part is normally I'd be harassing memes, but even if memes joined in here, I'd be the same.
Memes would be in here roasting Dodge, especially after the Sox won. That was wonderful.
I have heard the Dodgers described as a Star Trek Discovery of baseball.
Oh, now we're taking it to a whole new level of nerdiness.
It's gonna come stab every one of us. I swear to God. Dodgers gonna go.
I've had it with you people.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean, you fucking bunch of degenerates. That's what I. No, you didn't, Batman. No, you fucking didn't.
You're right, I didn't.
Yes, he really did.
Lines up to the Libertarian Party, calls everyone else a degenerate. Come on.
You kind of have that coming there, Dodge.
Oh, I've just realised, you know that column of people that's heading towards the American-Mexican border?
You know what?
Those aren't refugees. Those aren't immigrants. Those are the tryouts for the next Dodgers team.
Oh, Batman, fuck you, dude. I don't want any more goddamn Mexicans in here.
No. William, are you still in the chat? You might as well just this is obviously Brian's fucking Discord server at this point.
Don't you dare accuse me of spreading your link and trolling your stream.
No.
I never, ever, ever do that.
Dude, I couldn't put you on Reddit or on Pinterest like I normally do. Or where the fuck else? I couldn't put you on Mix either.
I'm getting banned? Is that what's going on?
No, I think I'm banned. I think I'm banned.
It's already been taken over by the rest of us degenerates. You're on your own.
I think I'm banned. I don't think you're banned. I think I am.
What are we banned from?
I don't know.
Reddit?
Oh, I don't.
Who the fuck gets banned from Reddit? Like,
Reddit.
No, Reddit was just having issues. I'm not banned.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
What too many plays with the mannequin?
Yeah, right.
Don't let all Dodgers fans on Reddit.
I gotta run. It is my girlfriend just got home. So
Brian,
we're gonna go get some dinner.
Brian,
she's expecting you to cook.
Take it easy, man.
No. She's buying me dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
but Brian,
the sex was that good.
So she is expecting you to cook.
Brian? Oh, he's gone.
Hey, Brian.
Brian had to run. Something else that the Dodgers can't do.
I don't think Brian can either.
Damn.
Okay.
You can't run if you don't hit the ball, though.
That was not very nice.
Yeah? Who said?
I didn't say we have to be nice. I just said that wasn't very nice.
Get your ass to bed, you goddamn children.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
All of you. Go to fucking bed. I agree.
Not fucking going to bed.
Shut up, cynic.
You're not my real mom.
You're right, I'm not. But I am my kid's real mom. Shut up.
Oh, 7:30. I ain't going to bed, Mom.
I don't care.
You can't tell me what to do.
Are you saying that you're one of Shirati's kids?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, that means you're a little girl.
Maybe. Even though I'm older than Shirati. Sure.
Prove it.
Hey, time
Yeah,
travel.
a lot of you people are older than me, and yet a lot of you people still call me hi, Mom.
Well, I'm nice to you, woman. God damn it.
Especially Memes, who's like, what, 34, 35?
Memes is
32.
Memes is memes.
I like it.
Memes is afraid of me and can be out-talked by a fucking 9-year-old.
Memes at times memes can get out-talked by a freaking head of lettuce.
or a cabbage.
Or a cabbage.
Shirati, you're basically the same type of woman that I grew up with. I know your type. You're a mean-ass bitch.
But you know what I am? I am a mean-ass bitch, and I am blunt and brutally honest, even in real life. I am not brutally honest in real life, just like I am on the internet.
What, like,
I don't give a flying fuck what anyone thinks about me. I was raised to be that way.
That's
why we like you.
I will give you shit. But you know what? You remind me of all of the women in my life.
Whatever. I don't care.
Whammons?
I can say fuck you. And you're okay with it.
Yeah. Get your ass upstairs. One.
I don't have a staircase.
2.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't care.
How am I going
3.
upstairs? Oh no, don't count.
Upstairs. I'm going.
Get your ass upstairs, man.
Ow!
That means get out of the crawl space, out of the porch.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. Get up. I know.
All right, I got to get out of here before CPS comes after me too.
Well, no, I muted her because disciplining children is fine. You guys don't need to do it online unless you want to be Daddy 05. So
what?
I was just making.
Well, so clapping your hands is.
I'm sorry. Sure. Go ahead.
I still hear screaming. Sorry, I muted you again. Okay. I think we're gonna wrap this shit up because I do have to write down. Fuck you, Batman. I do have to write up a list of favorite and least favorite horror movies for Toku. So we're gonna wrap this up. We're out of here. Oh my god. Good night. Good luck. And don't fucking go to France. We're out of here. And fuck the Boston Red Sox.